Welcome everybody to Global Speedrun Association and our first Super Mario Odyssey playoffs match of the Any Percent League 2019. And this is a banger to start this one off. NicroVeda versus Dansta. Best of 3 series. This is the first out of potentially 3 best of 3 sets. Whoever takes the first 2 series will actually end up qualifying for PACE. So this is where it gets serious. And I'm joined by Esper. What's up?
Hello, hello. You are totally right. We got a banger on our hands for today. Dansta is on fire today. Literally just got a PB. His first 100. Meanwhile, Nicro actually is not as rusty as you might think because he's been on he did a sort of simulation stream yesterday doing 2 any percent no resets. And the first one was like if I remember correctly, like around a 102, but the second one he really pulled through and got like a 103x. So I don't know.
Right, and I think this is actually pretty interesting. As you just mentioned, Dansta seems to be on fire today. So not only did he just get his first 100, but pretty much immediately the run after, he was actually minus 20 seconds on said PB. So potentially on something like a 1003x pace himself. And if he is somehow on fire today and is capable of getting times like that, Nicro might have some issues at keeping up with that. Obviously, his 80% practice must have come a little bit short in these recent days, as he was looking at darker side and also playing some other games. I mean, obviously deserved after breaking that huge barrier. But yeah, as you said yesterday, he is still capable of getting good times, but he's probably going to need to get those today because Dansta is at least going to put up a fight.
Yes, indeed. In fact, it's kind of funny that even though this is technically the number 1 seed versus the number 8 seed, this is like one of the closest playoff matches, in my opinion. Just maybe because Dansta, I guess, like, that's the other thing where Nicro is such a consistent racer. Obviously, he's undefeated, but Dansta has had a few kind of races that weren't up to his standards, but hopefully he gets, all he needs is 2 solid ones today. So
True.
And that'll start with Cap.
In Dansta's kingdom, pretty much exactly. Cap Kingdom, this is the one where Dansta probably has the upper hand for sure. We say this all the time, he races because it's such an outstanding performance he usually has in this kingdom, is able to get times that no one else really can. Once again, the only one in the world being capable of a 218, which is like unheard of. Like it was just done a month or 2 ago, but before there was only just like a dream. And we see Dansta already with the optimal rolls, they're taking a little bit of a lead. I really like watching this guy because it doesn't matter who he's racing against. At this point, he's always ahead, like literally. Okay, actually having a little bit of a sloppiness happening there, actually not going into first person mode. And that's super interesting. Did you just see? That was actually the best live comparison I've ever seen ever. Dansta not going in first person, and that's why Nicro took the lead here.
Definitely, you got to notice these little, like, it's very hard to tell when someone does the strat of the any sort of cutscene, any sort of camera panning skips. They're very hard to tell, but when you look at it side by side, but like that, that's really amazing. And when you see Dansta going for, I mean, really, all 3 rooms of Cap have to be perfect, near perfect for you to get a 218. And Dansta, but I would say the room that Dansta shines most is this room right here. He sometimes goes for dive vault left side. Luckily, we've never seen that in a race so far. But going for the normal left side, even his regular left side is quite fast. And we're going for the fast copper hits.
Yeah, and it's amazing how you see how he was already able to outrace Nick, even though Nick had a lead, capturing the frog, but after that, Dansta just pulled through and is actually able to finish Topper just a little bit before him, going into Cascade with a tiny lead. And yeah, this is pretty much as expected.
Yeah, let's take a look at these splits right here. I know that Dansta has gotten 219 in races several times before. So, like, it's almost like if he gets another 219, it's just like ho-hum, you know? But definitely, yeah, that's going to be like a 221 high for Dansta, looks about. And just behind that is Nick. But Cascade coming up. Dansta also has a pretty good Cascade, to be fair, but could switch everything up.
Yeah, definitely also one of the best, but we'll see how this is going to play out here. Actually, looking... I'm pretty sure both of them will be going for the wall jump, this version of first moon skip. We see the up throw already kind of signalizing that. Dansta will be able to get it. Nick just barely scratching the invisible wall there is also going to make his way over to the dino. Good job actually losing his jump right there. He's going to have to back up his jump.
Interesting side flip there to recover. Usually wouldn't... I don't know. Good thinking from Nicro. But yeah, Dansta actually had this 504 Cascade exit in his PB, apparently. He did get the Cascade exit world record just a few days ago, 504.3. That's actually one of the most ridiculous times I've ever heard. Just because if you break that down, that's like a 219.1 cap, and then a 245.1 Cascade. And Cascade world record is like 245.0. So really incredible first two kingdoms from Dansta. But today, I would say, you know, not quite on that 504 pace, but definitely this is good enough for the raid.
Yeah, true. Now, technically, actually, as you just said that, I was thinking about it, technically, his username obviously coming from his name, NicroVeda. It's kind of weird how we actually pronounce it NicroVeda. I guess that's just how it is nowadays, but technically it would need to be NicroVeda since it's his name, but whatever. I can definitely fall for that trap you just fell in calling him Nike, just because you're so used to calling him NicroVeda, but...
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking these guys are fast, you know, so you think Nitro. That's I've always associated his name.
That's a good
fast
one.
As Nitro.
Right, so there's over to the cliffside here to collect his fourth moon, and it's gonna make his way over to Chest as well. Let's see if Chest treats those guys well in this first matchup.
Looks pretty good for Dansta. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Did not get that one. Nigro does get it though.
Also extremely fast backup there from Dansta. He was pretty much ready to already not get it because he moved out of that cave with very crazy speed and even did like a spin for roll cancel at the end there to capture, or I mean you don't capture the globe, but to hit the globe to still leave Cascade with a lead.
Yeah, that's one of the fastest. Sometimes you see people go for like a wall jump off of there, but it is possible to recover from a missing chest clip without doing a wall jump. It's a little bit more difficult, but Dansta definitely showing he knows his backups.
Yeah, for sure. Dansta's early game is really extremely impressive. We've actually pointed out a couple of mistakes that he was making in this run already, but he still got a 5-10 right there. Now, Nick obviously also having some issues on that jump towards the dino, but also pretty much matching him. So still solid early game exits here, even with some small flaws.
Definitely. Of course, as Fast Action Guide is now over, we got both of these guys going into sand. Dansta is one of the... Both of these guys, actually, I think, have done the late crate route before, but I would be very surprised to see them do it in a race.
Not in the race, I think.
Very non-race friendly.
The stakes are literally high right now. So once again, as this is going to be a little bit more of a relaxed part here in sand before they actually go into Dram, this is the first playoffs match. There's going to be 3 best of 3 series, up to 3. I mean, the first one who takes 2 of these best of 3 series will qualify for pace. And this is our first matchup here, Nick versus Dansta. We are not going to have all of these series today. This is the first of them. It's going to be another one tomorrow, and then potentially a third one. But yeah, the first matchup here, Nick versus Dansta. We also have Stravos versus Sui Sega, as far as I'm concerned. We have Chaos Pringle versus Fur, and Lil Cubs versus Equal.
Yes, those are the matchups. I was wondering, like, do you think that this format kind of like benefits one of these players over the other? Because I feel like you can make the argument both ways, you know?
I mean, honestly, I think even though Dansta has been playing really well today, and we'll see if he's able to keep it up. In the past, we've seen him probably with more inconsistencies than Nick. Nick is usually able to at least get, let's say, like a 102. We've seen, I think, something like a 104 from Dansta before, where he really drops the ball. So I think with that many matches and such a big sample size, I think this would still favor Nick. In terms of the general matchups, I think Stravos is another one that probably benefits from that. Chaos probably as well. I mean, this is kind of ironic because these are like the top 4 seeds, right? They tend to be doing well in races in general and also obviously in PB attempts.
I think you could even go the other way though, because maybe like we know their consistency, but we only know their consistency for one-off races. You know, it definitely is more mentally taxing. It's more and arguably physically taxing. If you've seen the picture of Dansta's hands actually from attempting Sphinx Clip, I don't know if you've ever seen that picture, but Dansta has these I would advise not looking at it because Dansta has these huge bruises on his hands from doing Sphinx Clip. But you see his stream actually, and he, you know, sometimes I'll see and he's like 12.5 hours of uptime and he's still doing attempt, you know? So Dansta definitely is one of those, like the OG guy that does these long streams of attempts.
Well, it seems like he's reaping the benefits of that because he was able to get that second clip pretty much immediately. Now Nick is still struggling here. I think it took him like 3 attempts to get through the wall. So the first lap of the bird is probably gone. Might have to catch that one in the second one. In the second lap of the bird circling the oasis.
Yes, indeed. So definitely Nicro having a little bit of trouble with Sphinx Clip. Of course, Dansta missed some too, but Dansta just happened to not have like a Sphinx Clip meltdown, luckily. But yeah, if they were doing late crate, this would be over at that point. So it's a good thing. But also Nicro, I would say, you know, he's more recently on the sub-hour grind. He also has been doing like 8-hour streams every day of this game. So he definitely, I would say, he's another guy with endurance. Of course, Darker Side is a 3-hour category if you're doing 3 hours of racing. So I really think you can make the case both ways for these runners.
For sure. Now, Bird obviously looking very, very nice there for the Instars, just basically flying into him. We'll see how this Bird is going to treat Nick. Looks like he just basically passed that first lap. That's actually still going to be kind of okay. He has to go a little bit more out of the way to actually get the Bird, but as long as he still gets that moon, that's
oh no, Dansta falling off. Not able to get that single spin throw. It's probably going to be like 3 spin throws, but not the worst. At least he didn't fall to the ground, but he did have to kind of reset up that. We'll see if Nicro can get that single spin throw. And he does.
Nicro, yep, will be able to get the one. It actually has pretty high consistency with this one, and out of many runners, I noticed that he gets a pretty consistently. I'm not sure if that's a strat that you've been tracking, but I feel like Nick has been doing a good job with that node strat at least.
Yeah, unfortunately not a tracked stat, but maybe we could go back in the VODs and retrack that. There's a lot of different like kind of ways you could do it. You know, I saw that you had a clip too where you kind of like, I don't know, you like dived and then rolled across the leaves.
That's probably something we won't see, but it's technically possible.
Yeah. We do see a dive. I think Chaos does like kind of like a dive across them, different than what Nicro does. So we got like a 10-23 sand exit from Nicro right there.
Yeah, pretty much sync cutscenes, but not the same cutscene. Dansta was already selecting Lake, so it seems to be kind of like a 10 to 12 second difference here.
Yeah, both of these guys doing late clip, but I would say definitely, and the stats show this as well, Nicro probably has a better history of late clip than Dansta. Nicro's been doing it basically since the beginning. He was one of the first runners to adopt late clip versus Dansta.
True.
He doesn't even do it in all of his races. I assume he's going to do it now because everyone's gotten so much better, and really, you know, at this point, everyone in the playoffs is doing late clip, except for Stravos, actually, I believe. But we'll see how it goes out, how it works out for him.
Yeah, I can pretty much just confirm that Nick pretty much the first run to ever do lay clip in his attempts. Now Dansta's actually having some issues here getting Cappy to clip. Will get it here, will not get a fake clip, and hopefully being able to make his movement out of bounds. Gets a checkpoint. Very nice. Let's see if Nick can match that. Actually, first try, as long as he gets this out of bounds movement here. Very nicely done. And as you predicted, this is pretty much the expected result. Nick is going to catch up a little bit here on Dansta through this late clip movement.
Definitely, and all the stuff after late clip too. I feel like we've saved so much time on that, where even though the initial comparison, it's kind of funny looking at it, and late clip only saved 2 seconds. I believe that was your video. But now it's like late clip saves, you know, up to 7 seconds, maybe even an RTA. And it just because all these little things, of course, we late clip faster, but also even this movement after we've optimized. So
yeah, I'm not even sure if we had like the down throw back then. It was pretty much just the first time we ever proved that this is actually faster, but everybody was like, there's no way we do this. We're never going to do this, right? And then people started doing it, and now it's pretty much a standard in high level any percent. other than Strauss. But I mean, he mentioned before he just doesn't like doing it yet because it feels pretty inconsistent. He doesn't need it. Now, these runners are very confident in doing it, so they will just take that time save. Nick, obviously, getting a good chunk of time back over Dansta of just doing it a little bit better.
Yep. Definitely very funny that you mentioned Stravos doesn't really do leg clip in races, because he was the first one to get the IL world record in leg clip. So you'd think, you know, he'd be all over that. But he has his reasons, and it's been working out for him. You know?
For sure. All right, let's check Lake fade outs here. Dancer globing in already at 29 moons here, as the banner shows. And looks like this is going to be a 1307 still. Nick is not far behind anymore. We are looking at like a 9-second difference now leading Lake.
Yep, that's about it, 9 seconds. But of course, that could all be made up in literally 1 instant. You can lose over 10 seconds in Wooded, and that is nut clip, basically. Even with the best of backups, you're losing like at least, you know, a good amount of seconds by missing that. So we'll see both runners. Hopefully they get it.
Actually, I know Dansta likes to listen in on commentary, and I hope I don't make him sweat. But actually, I think his nut clip consistency is very good. From watching his streams, a mistake that I haven't really seen many other runners do, but he actually struggles with this sometimes, is actually the ramp part, which is the movement you do after you get that tank moon from the out of bounds section. You have to kind of get a nice angle and then time your jumps accordingly to be able to make it up. And then do a specific jump at the end to actually climb that last portion. So hopefully he's able to do that, because if you fall there, this is also probably getting you a time loss of about 10 seconds.
Definitely, and people have various different backups. I know that Dansta has gone for old route in the past, and I feel like if you go for old route, that's like even worse than just trying to go for nut clip, but not necessarily, because you have to get nut clip fast. Nicro are going to go for tree route here, so we're going to see a little bit of route disparity. Nicro is basically going to be a moon ahead, so it's going to look like that he's more far behind than he actually is. Dansta getting nut clip and the movement.
Very fast movement as well, out of bounds. Let's see if Ramp is treating him well today, making his way up here. And I'm not sure if that was commentator's scores. It was only a small mistake. He realized it pretty quickly and had a good backup, probably losing around 2 to 3 seconds. Yeah, that's totally fine. Now, if Nick is actually able to perform this entire section very well and gets the time loss from the tree route, we might see that lead from Dansta diminishing even a little bit more. Let's see if he's able to get ramp just fine.
Looking good, and is he going to get the triple jump? He does. Very fancy strats from Nicro, and that's a very hard one to do. Ramp triple.
That is a good wooded.
Yeah, Nicro did used to have that wooded world record. I believe it was recently broken by Ekwan with a 509, but he has had 511 wooded, which is, you know, 511 wooded will definitely take. That's one of the best woodeds.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Dansta obviously has to pick up the story moon here, so we'll actually pretty much see these guys come together shortly. Now, Nick is basically gonna have to collect that moon, but not on the dead end, while Dansta is sitting in that cutscene, and then we'll see how this is staying. Because I feel like in this wooded so far, Nick might have made up around 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. I mean, Dansta had a few seconds of mistakes earlier on, and Nicro has just been playing really solidly, catching up with movement, so I'd agree with that. And plus, of course, Nicro's going to save arguably a second or two from doing this tree route right here. Yeah, I would say, just you were saying, like, accurate comparisons, like, that might be, like, kind of the closest thing we have to a comparison of tree route versus non-tree route, you know?
Yeah, Dansta actually did miss Flower Road Skip on his first attempt there, so it's a little bit inflated, probably lost around 2 seconds or 3 seconds having to back that up, but we are pretty much even entering this tower.
Look at your GSA syncs in the chat. Or you just We are going through the tower. Nicro, I believe, in his PB, lost around 5 seconds in this segment, right?
Yeah, this is the one infamous segment where it's like random 5 seconds of time save.
Yeah,
that was
exactly what happened.
By the way, that moon got added to the count at like the exact same frame. Let's see how this section goes. Oh, Dansta.
Oh.
He was actually telling us recently that he actually times
Yes.
that jump, and I don't think that worked in his favor. He is getting that stun, and Nick is going to take the lead on the nut around the corner.
Not going for the mash. I heard, by the way, that stun cancel is a 3-frame window, and someone else confirmed that to me. So definitely, like, to time that is very hard. You can do, I've heard that there's a compromise solution that Stravos does, where you can press A and B at the same time, and then you get, like, kind of like 2 chances at it if you know, because even if your A press was early, your B press could be on time. But I don't know if that's exactly what Dansta does, but definitely not working out in his favor. Getting that long stun animation, but still not that far behind, all things considered. I would say this race is pretty close to the tide, leaving wooded.
Clean pipe way from both of them, and we don't have any fur shenanigans here, so they are in fact both done with that section, so they will both be heading to Cloud. This is a very close race, probably around 3-second difference now that Nick was able to kind of acquire through him not getting stunned after the tower.
Yeah, this is what I'm loving here. Close races, you know, through early game. I don't know. And plus, the thing is, in this format, it's not like the other races where winning by a certain amount of seconds matters. It's you win or you don't. You know, it's all or nothing in these races in a way. So really, it's not about the specific time difference. It's about how close. It's about basically whether they can keep it close till the end, whether they can snipe a win at the end. That's what you're looking for.
Right, and actually I think in one of Nick's no resets yesterday, he had some issues in Cloud. Once again, this is like an incredibly small sample size. We don't know how many no resets, how much practice he does throughout the game. Off stream, if he has done like a no reset before today's race or not. But yeah, Cloud obviously offering some potential for scary time losses. Whenever you miss a phase here, time loss hurts you pretty bad.
Yes, even Curbs in his famous 10000 flat lost about 4 seconds in Cloud Kingdom. That was like one of the biggest time saves in his run in this kingdom that we basically consider, some people consider an auto scroller. So, but it can be deceptively hard, and getting those manips actually can be quite difficult. We're trying to manip Bowser so that he only jumps 1 space instead of more than 1, because then just a shorter distance he has to travel. But so far, looking okay from these hits. Nicro beating Bowser into oblivion. Dansta only like a second or 2 behind here.
Yep, not much at all. Looking like 2 to 3 maximum. Now going into Lost, a pretty strong kingdom for Nick. He, at least at the very early on, he has always had one of the best Losts. Now we see some players that really focus on the small kind of mechanical advantages you can get through specific techniques that are able to get crazy loss times, such as like 207, 206 even, has been rumored now. And I guess in a race, that one is maybe not the best strategy.
Oh,
No, Dansta's
no,
actually gonna
Dansta!
forward. Wait, I don't even know
Oh,
what
that's
that
not
happened.
what you want to see.
Oh, he missed
He
the
rolled
long
off
jump
and,
input,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, he just rolled off the cliff, and then he was trying to go forward, but he's like, wait, I can't make this if I just go forward. Maybe I'm going to go back, but it was a split decision. Wow. I mean, at least that's not the worst death, because, like, you know, you're catching up, and, like, already he's where he was before he died, and he doesn't have to reactivate Klepto or anything like that. But,
oh no. Wait, is he gonna... Okay, I wasn't sure.
No,
sometimes if you grab that pole, Klepto likes to mess with you, but I think he was still safe.
Yeah, you need to grab the bottom of the pole, and then it'll hit the trigger. But if you grab the top of the pole, you're fine. Now, Dansta actually is gonna mention, I mean, maybe he's already sort of jinxed himself, but he was one of those runners. I've seen one of his races, he had 5 deaths in Lost Kingdom alone. So hopefully we're not going to see another 4 deaths from Dansta, break that GSA record for the most deaths in Lost. But
he's doing well for himself now, as I said that he bonks against the tree. But Nick actually also having a pretty sloppy Lost overall. He had a ledge grab after the butterfly, bonked on that little tree stump, had to do this like, weird pole backup. Now he has been able to back everything up, hasn't died yet, but pretty scary Losts from both runners.
Oh no, Dansta not getting that first hit, probably because a little bit movement off. He could have moved closer to the block and do kind of a beginner strat there, where Mario you can take damage, but then you're sure to hit the block. I don't know, there's a close angle. Yeah, he's gonna do that.
Yeah, otherwise he would have needed to wait for like the Trapito to move to the right. I think this is probably breaking even, or maybe even faster than waiting for the Trapito to get to the correct angle. But Nick definitely increasing his lead quite drastically. Dansta, wow, this loss is actually a thriller. I hope he's able to get that last minute, and he probably just wants to get out of here. Playing it extremely safe here, not even going for the spin point. I think he just wants to leave this kingdom as fast as possible.
Yeah, very tight there. He grabbed the moon sort of towards the bottom, so I was worried he wouldn't be able to get back up, but he did, actually. That was impressive. As we're on to the Night Metro, at least, you know, even though loss might have kind of messed with our runners a little bit, giving Nicro a solid lead. Wiggler is something that Nicro actually, that's another one of the big time losses in his PB. It's kind of RNG, so you can't really blame, but you never know what's going to happen. And it is a reaction to RNG, of course, so the exact time loss is in a way determined by you.
Absolutely. Night Metro overall still very clean, actually. Very clean movement there from Nick, moving up the awning, not messing around, going for instant wall kicks, no cap stalls, anything. But overall, Night Metro still offers some scary time losses. We haven't seen too many big flaws and stuff like the City Hall, but we have seen it. And Nick actually getting another bonk on top there, trying to
I think
get the roll over.
Nicro has died in City Hall in at least one GSA race, so that's something to look out for. None of these guys, luckily, none of these guys are going to go for the Goryuya cycle like City Hall. They're going for the standard cycle, but even the standard cycle, like, both are quite difficult. Especially this part right here, you miss time, you kind of get the wrong position, you could just fall right through the poles.
Dude, I like Goryuya cycle so much more for the name for this. I'm pretty sure you've heard some interesting names for this strat as well, but
yes.
Goryuya cycle, I'm gonna call this Goryuya cycle wrong, but that fits perfectly because you're actually outracing the cycle. That's how I'm gonna call that for now.
Yeah, we do it like SM64. We name the cycles after the person that achieves the cycle, you know?
Yeah, maybe we'll find a new cycle at some point, you know, that like skips the entire elevator. We'll see, we'll see. I like that for sure.
Cube cycle.
Probably not, I'm pretty bad at this room, but for now, Goryuya cycle is a thing people sometimes go for. Actually, Curbs, I think, and Econ both have been doing it at some points during the league, but now that the matches get even more important than pretty much do or die, I think this is a strat that many will just hold off for now.
Definitely. This is one of those strats, like, even Chaos, after he got his 1-0-24, he's like, you know what, I'm going to add this strat, we're going for everything. But then he realized, like, actually, you know, there's so many other areas of the game that we can improve.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to hold off on this. Dansta not getting those 3 quick hits on the first cycle. First cycle is not RNG, so, like, you know, doing that is definitely, like, in your control. To some extent, of course, there are input drops all the time and motion controls and stuff like that, but Nicro looking like he can handle this. Oh, okay.
One missed shot, but
good.
other than that, pretty good. Pretty good other than that one missed shot, for sure. Right, let's see what pattern Dansta gets here. Still in this dodging phase, waiting for the pattern to be revealed pretty much right here. And hopefully also being able to get a good one, because even though Nick's lead has been growing pretty much through Lost, overall this is still a pretty close race. Now that's also missing one shot, being able to back this up relatively quickly, so pretty even, I'd say, overall. Maybe a little tiny bit slower for Dansta.
Yeah, I agree. Nicro definitely had a solid one. Now we're going to get to Day Metro. This is about a 4-minute 20-second kingdom, but Nicro, of course, going for Scoop Clip. Both of these runners will be. That's probably like the first threat. Yeah.
I kind of got hypnotized by Dansta's move, and they're just collecting that move like a spin and throw, roll cancel. It looked pretty neat, but obviously nothing special now. Nick actually getting an unintentional ledge grab on that girder. And these tiny mistakes in a race like this will actually keep adding up, because Nick has been doing a bunch of them. Like, he has been bonking in Night Metro and Lost and ledge grabs like these. You cannot do too many of those because they will add up, and Dansta right now is still playing well, just had a little bit of a sloppy Lost.
Yeah, solid drive-by from Nicro. And we're doing 2 quick drams, basically, 2 mini drams right at the start of Day Metro. Oh no, Dansta taking a bonk, failing the first dram. You might have just grabbed, at that point I would just grab the moon.
It's something that you kind of like, yeah, okay, he didn't even get it after his 3rd attempt, so that's pretty much the worst way this capture option could have gone. I absolutely know the feeling. You kind of want to go back to what you know, But that ended up losing him quite a bit of time. Now Dansta also with a very clean drive-by scoot clip, and Nick getting another bonk. I feel like this might actually. I mean, this is kind of like a prediction, but I feel like nerfs might play more of a factor than usual here, because these guys know it's actually about, like, it's do or die, as I said. And usually I don't see that many small mistakes from Nick. It might also be his first run of the day, I don't know. This is pretty much just predicting. But I'm pretty sure nerfs definitely come into play more than ever now.
No, I agree. And plus, like, in the leagues, I guess you can lose a race and it's okay. Of course, you can lose a race here too, but like, there's the point system, so you feel like, oh, even if I lose, like, at least I'm still getting some points, you know?
Exactly.
So it's more like, kind of, the pressure's off more. But here it's like, you lose. That's it. You lose by 1 second, you might as well have lost by 10 minutes, you know? So, definitely the pressure is on for both of these runners.
Dansta having a little bit of fun with the drummer there. Drumming a little bit on the drum kit. We do have synced up Story Moon red screens right here, but this is different musicians. Nick is already done with the bassist. Dansta still has to roll over to the park.
That's what we call a fake GSA sync.
The fake GSA sync. Actually, I've seen exactly that kind of lead a lot. To be fair, this red screen stays on screen for quite a while, so I mean, it's kind of natural if the race is relatively close to have that happen. But this is absolutely a race where it can still go either way. Now, actually, we like to look at coin counts pretty much in this kingdom. As far as I know, we should be good to go to snow for both of them. I think I've seen Dansta on like 99 coins. Yeah, it looks like both of them.
Yeah, Dansta had like 140. Dansta actually always grabs like a lot of coins in the Sphinx room, or at least he used to. So
yeah, he still does. He
does.
throws Cappy twice there because I think he doesn't like collecting coins from Madame Brutal. Actually, not getting a long jump here. Tried to go for a single jump that wouldn't have worked, so he has to back up his jump over to the trash.
Yep, definitely. Just to clarify in chat, we see, yeah, this is just, if someone, unlike in the Celeste races and in the 16-star races you might have seen, if someone wins 2 out of 3 of this set, they win this part of the set. It's a best of 3, best of 3s, of course, so they're still going to race at least one more day. But if any one of these runners wins 2 in a row, then we're done. We're only doing 2 races today. But if it's 1 and 1, then we're going to play the 3rd. So...
Exactly. Now, the best case scenario for Nick, I mean, the fastest way he could qualify for pace, I guess that counts for both of them. Technically, if he wins 2-0 today and wins 2-0 tomorrow, he's playing at pace, right? But if this series goes 1-1, then we could have a 3rd match, and then if let's say Nick wins today's series and Dansta wins tomorrow's series 2-1, then we are going to have another best of 3, ultimately deciding who is actually going to be playing at pace. But right now, Nick is in the lead quite confidently. This is a pretty nice lead to deal with, but once again, nothing to be absolutely feeling safe about.
Yeah, that looked like about a 30:08 exit for NicroVeda Metro. So definitely workable. It's not like, you know, I wouldn't say this is race world record pace or anything like that, of course, because there were a few mistakes. But race world record, I would say, I don't know. I think we should stop fixating on that. I'm the one who fixates on it, so blame myself. But like here, you know, the win is all that matters. Save the race world record for pace.
Yep.
But we're gonna get a little delta here as Dansta gets his exit, looking like about a 40-second difference between these runners right here. So that's a decent amount, but 2 missed snowdrams, that's 40 seconds right there. So.
Yep. And just one of them could already make things a lot more closer. We still have very scary kingdoms to go through. Now, I would say we are in the part of the run where Nick is probably the favorite. His MSSL tends to be pretty strong. Dan's obviously one of the kings of the early game. Maybe struggles a little bit more in this section of the run. So I think Nick should feel safer, but once again, stakes are high. This is a race scenario and mistakes just happen. Yeah, he just mentioned yesterday sometimes, you know how a bonk can lose you 2 seconds, but it depends on where you bonk. A bonk happens so easily, and if you tend to happen to bonk on Snowdram, or let's say another like high portion, let's say bonking in the poison room or the glory room, whatever you want to call it, that will hurt.
You bonk in wooded and fall in deep woods. That's more than 2 seconds right there. You know?
Absolutely.
But So like it really does all depend on where you bonk, of course. And you know, sometimes if you bonk in sand, you could be less than 2 seconds because you could cancel the bonk animation if you land in the shifting sands. So really, yeah, it's very contextual. But Nicro getting the boost off of that platform there. As Dansta going for the wall jump variety of that umbrella jump. And we're getting that optimal spiny. That was pretty clean right there from Nicro. Didn't lose any speed at all. Getting the optimal spiny. It's a faster for the camera.
Yep, Dansta has been looking very good. Now Dansta, as you probably were about to mention, missing the snow clip. He looks like he was trying to go for it, but didn't really get the inputs in the right time, so won't be able to clip through that wall to cut a little bit of movement. This is a minimal time loss though.
Definitely. And Nicro, it's funny that like Nicro used to be, back when his PB was like, you know, when he had the 102 or when he had like a high 101, Snowdram was like Nicro's worst enemy. Like he couldn't figure out how to do it. It's very funny looking back on that in retrospect. But now I would say he's mostly fixed those problems with Snowdram. Like he does get it pretty consistent, but who knows? His past demons might come back to haunt him at the end of the snow.
Yeah, so far the snow has been pretty exceptional. He has been making these tiny mistakes throughout the entire run, but if we try to ignore them, overall this has been a pretty strong run from him. 30-0. 8 Metro X is obviously not insane, but once again, he just has been making these smaller mistakes, such as at the very early game, and obviously struggling a little bit in sand. But for example, his wooded and now the snow are going pretty phenomenal. And so taking damage there is gonna cause him to get a damage refill on this moon, losing around 2 seconds.
Definitely, those damage refills. That's like just, I don't know. I feel like it's good that they're in the game. They are annoying, of course, but it's good that they're in the game because they do provide an incentive to not take damage, you know? Otherwise, it wouldn't matter. Nicro coming up.
Oh, true. Let's watch Snowdram first. This is a little bit more important than Dansta's way of grabbing that story moon. Delays us into this nicely and will get the jump very nice. I was just mentioning how Dansta seems to be a big fan of these spin for roll cancels. They always look quite stunning. He was able to grab that story moon with that, but a little bit more important here that Nick is able to leave the snow. Very solid snow overall.
Very solid for Nicro. We'll get his fade out here so we can compare these runners at the end. Looking like a 34-47 snow for Nicro.
Yeah,
and Dansta about to do this Snowdram. Actually, Dansta has had in the league a lot of trouble with Snowdram. I don't know, what do I have him at? I have him in 8th place in the league for Snowdram, but like he's looking okay. Yeah, okay, we got it. Luckily, we have seen sometimes he's missed it like 2 or 3 times, but I'm sure he's very relieved to have that out of the way as Nicro enters Seaside.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like what you basically back up with the stats here is what I just mentioned, that Dansta probably in this mid-game section, especially Snow and Seaside, might have a little bit more issues than other top runners. Just in terms of this league. I think he's also been the only one, I'm not sure if that's true, I think he's been the only one to actually clip back in bounds on the clip routes, if I remember correctly.
Oh, in Seaside, Fur also clipped back in bounds,
also.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, which is funny because Fur made the tutorial.
I was about to say, making a tutorial, missing it, oh. But I think Nick hasn't made that mistake yet, and overall, Seaside, another strong suit from, especially once again, MSSL, the mid-game portion, tends to be doing pretty well there.
Definitely. Of course, with this new Seaside route, both of these runners, probably the newest, like, you know, major route change other than sand that's happened to the game. At this point, not quite new, but still, it is a risk to clip back in. That's like that's the big risk.
Extremely interesting how this route change played out. I remember there was this one phase in the speed game, which was around June last year when we found Nutlip, where we had like this huge rerouting season. We found the faster metro route, we found the faster wooded route, and then obviously evolved through Nutclip. We found that it's faster to do nodes than crate, and we found like big changes. And I remember talking a ton with different people that are interested in routing, especially also Tuval. He was like tested a huge variety of seaside routes as well, and we were both like, man, this is so frustrating. Seaside just doesn't feel quite right, but we can't find anything that's faster. These underwater moons are too fast. And then this year, Circle coming with that out of bounds clip that Nicro is about to do, changing the game. Really, it fits perfectly in the route we already did and makes it feel so much better. I mean, it still doesn't feel completely right to kind of move all the way through the ocean without collecting any moons, but it feels a lot better now.
Yeah. And definitely, at least we don't have to do that rocket flower refresh. That's one of those things that didn't even save that much time, but like it definitely caused a lot of frustration for runners. Just because I guess there were some parts of that which are kind of RNG. People weren't sure, like, exactly, for example, whether you get a wave at the end or whether you fall in the water or you manage to kind of float with the rocket flower. I don't know, a lot of little things like that, but we avoid that moon now because this Sphinx moon is faster.
For sure. But only do we get the benefit of actually collecting this moon we used to. Oh, Dan's actually not getting the clip.
Dansta missing the first try clip there. Gonna have to go back in. At least he gets a second try. It can be a little awkward. The game basically tries to push you back in, and sometimes it gives you quite the shove. So we're fighting the game at this point to push ourselves out.
Yep, that's why he needed to kind of swim back to kind of reset the boundary there. It's gonna be able to get that second try. It's obviously also not gonna clip back in, which is even more crucial. But this is still a nasty time loss. Now, Nick's seaside as well has been phenomenal. His Metro had some bongs, some slight flaws, but the rest of this mid game has been very, very good.
Yes, indeed. Nicro has had some little troubles with some of these. Well, actually, with the last moon in Luncheon on sub-hour pace. Luckily, we don't need to remember those anymore. He got the sub-hour run. He's proved himself. But definitely, there are some little things. I noticed that actually, I don't think he even went for a roll cancel there. He just kind of rolled off the ledge and then dived. If I be correct, or he probably did. But that roll cancel, I remember during one of Nicro's PBs, he opted not to do that roll cancel. Yeah. Instead of going for the long jump. Because it's safer, you know.
What I do really have to say about Nick, and I think this is incredibly important as we go into a meaningful series like this. Sure, many of his stream viewers know him as kind of a Dan's actually missing Soul Triple. He's going to try to back it up, hopefully getting it soon. But yeah, many of his stream viewers know him as like kind of this meme. He's running like Wii Sports, having some fun on stream. But this guy is probably one of the most competitive people I know at the same time. Like, he might joke around it occasionally, but he is incredibly competitive. I'm pretty sure he's going to take this entire series and this entire thing very serious. I know he definitely wants to go to pace and prove himself as the best once again, even though he basically did that already, getting his sub-hour first. But yeah, incredibly competitive mindset from this guy, and even though he might not always show it, I just know that's how he works. There's no way he could have come back from being dethroned a lot without that.
That's true. You have to be so mentally strong, so confident, basically. So many times, you know, like, it's happened multiple times that Nicro's PB has been beaten. He got world record, took a little break, because it's like, there's no one to compete with, you know, why keep lowering the time is his mindset. But then people come and they beat his PB by like 30 seconds, and it's like, you're not coming back from 30 seconds. And then he does, you know, every time. No matter his doubters. So definitely, Nicro is an extremely competitive person. I agree with that. Getting that golden turnip, Kobe. And it's funny because, like, a few little things, like, Nicro always used to get the golden turnip for turnip clip, and he's like, you know, oh, like, that's our tradition or whatever. But really, in this game, as we've proven over time, that, like, we do what's fast, you know? So, oh, Nicro getting a little falling in the lava there and missing the cycle as a result. That is going to be a little rough. That's kind of one of the risks of doing the Manipulus strat, is that any little mistake like that and it's over.
Pretty unfortunate. From Dansta also had some issues leaving that sub room, where in the magma storm, where we get the moon around the corner, actually bonking on his way out. But I think Nick probably got hit a little bit more there in this luncheon. This was his first real mistake, though, in a while. Once again, if we look back, his Snow and Caesar have both been looking pretty much flawless. Like, I can't think of any mistake. I actually haven't even seen him bonk. I mean, he kind of missed the third moon in Seaside for like a split second, but other than that, we haven't really seen much flaws now. Dance is actually going to go for this again. We've pointed it out before. He likes to actually do the moon clip movement here to be actually able to avoid backflipping. Very nicely done. He's just basically kept diving over the soup. Really cool how this works. He basically did the moon clip inputs while the moon was spawning in Mario's hitbox and was able to get that up orb to skip the backflip.
Yeah. That's another one of those Goryuya strats, and he did get the up orb. Of course, he did earlier. He kind of missed the Kobe. He chose the wrong turnip, so he had that lost a little time there. But Nicro onto turnip clip. It looks like he's gonna get a first try, and he does.
Yeah, very well done. Didn't really get the chance to talk about what he was doing. Not getting the golden turnip, getting the white one as predicted, and makes that work. Oh, Dansta!
Oh no, Dansta falling!
That is actually...
can't recover.
No, he can't.
That
is how
huge.
dives work.
Yeah.
He got a spin throw over an up throw, and that ended up losing in probably 30 seconds.
Brutal. One missed motion control, and it's over, you know? So, hopefully he can recover. Oh no, again! That's the thing, it's in your muscle memory, like, you know, the way to move the controller, and now he's doing the same thing again, where this, wow. You know, and it's just like a little time save where we throw up and then we dive because Mario gets a little height from the dive, and if you're closer to the object you're being capped. Another bonk, but at least he's staying in bounds, he's not getting a death from this one. Okay, yeah. Honestly, I would consider kind of almost dropping the dive. Or I don't know if that would really work, but okay, we're taking it safe here. We're not doing anything dangerous. I don't blame him. But
okay, that's interesting. Now, this is the first time we are in a situation where the time difference doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure Dancer, who's able to actually obviously see the broadcast, knows how he's doing now, and I mean, after a mistake like that, I wonder, like, this is always so interesting. I like how other esports also talk about this in a serious scenario. Sometimes in a spot like this, and even though there is a technical chance of Dancer still coming back here after a big time loss like that, and that would basically, Nick would need to mess up very badly. I wonder if in a race like this, if it's better to kind of like sit back, just finish the race, not waste your energy, you know? That's always so interesting to me in a position like this, because it's going to be incredibly hard for him to, like, he actually can't come back on his own. He's relying on Nick to make a crucial mistake.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of one of the recent Celeste finals between TGH and Fladervy, where Fladervy kind of missed the Bubs drop like 4 or 5 times or something really ridiculous. And each of those times is like a minute time loss, or I don't know, many seconds, to the point where it was impossible to catch up, like literally, you know, basically impossible. And a lot of runners then might like kind of chill for the rest of the race, and like you said, that might be a good idea. But Fladervy actually came back and he got an IL world record in one of the following splits in that run. Of course, we're the SMO commentators here, still trying to learn a little bit about Celeste, but you know, like it's kind of interesting to me about like some people's mindsets maybe, and same with Curbs, I would say, in the last final, which is good to talk about during Ruin. In the last tournament final for SMO, he got a 3-cycle Wiggler, and then, which was like, you know, after that it was like, damn, it's gonna be really hard to catch up. But then he got a 607 Luncheon, which at the time was an IL world record. So maybe Dansta is just gonna pop off, you know, in one of these following splits after a huge time loss like this, and like, you know, get some crazy splits. I don't know.
Okay, I can see that. I just asked myself, in the sake of the competition, is it worth? Like, do you actually want to play as good as possible for the rest of the splits? I mean, sure, you can get an IL world record, but I mean, you still want to win the series, right? So is it maybe worth to actually chill, like conserve your energy? That's hard to tell. We'll see how Dansta ends up approaching this. But as we are in Ruin right here, there's another topic to talk about, which is why are we here? We are playing playoffs for a specific event, and this specific event is PACE. These guys right now are competing for the chance to make it to PACE. As our top 4 runners of the league compete live in a round robin and prove themselves as the best racer of their respective game. And once again, this is a best of 3 right now, and this is going to be a series of best of 3s. The first of these 2 guys who actually wins 2 series will qualify for PACE to get a chance to play live and show off. And once again, if you guys are interested in PACE, if you guys are interested in all of the events happening there, if you're even like thinking about going, if you're close, this is going to take place in Laurel in Maryland. So if you guys want to check out more info, you can still type an exclamation mark PACE. Registration is still open. I would highly recommend, if you can afford and can make it, it's going to be a pretty stacked and hype event.
I agree. You can even see your best friend, Limcube, at PACE. He's got a run there. The Glix Exhibition, I am hyped for that one. But PACE is where these finals will be. Anyways, Dansta took a little bit of bonk and ruined, but I would mostly agree with you also when you said, like, yeah, I feel like that's one thing that people don't really, I don't know, like, I would agree with you, actually, that, like, yeah, you want to conserve energy, because obviously in any competitive sport, you know, the more you do it hard, the more energy it takes up. But you look at, like, Curbs got his 1 hour flat at the end of a 7-hour stream. A lot of these runners kind of do these, like, 12-hour grinds, and they get their PBs at the end of the grind. It almost doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's so incredible, kind of like the endurance of some of these players. So who knows? I don't know. And maybe you might say that, like, you know, for your mindset, it's better to kind of finish off the race good than to, like, finish off with mediocre splits. But I can see it both ways. I would tend to agree with you that I do think it might be best to chill, but at the same time, like, do you really want to give up? Necro could fall off mech. I don't know. Very hard to say.
There is still some potential for Necro to lose a lot of time. He's already starting with a tiny time loss here, trying to climb up the first roof here in Bowser's. But I mean, the big time saves, still time losses still lurking are obviously the mech fight, escape, Bowser, and Moon, the usual suspects. But it would require him to probably mess up multiple of those. Like, a 2D dev wouldn't probably be enough for Dansta to catch up. He would need to, like, fall off mech and but then again, let's rewind. Go back to the day where Equan died to D-skip twice. Go back to the day where Curbs got invisible walled in Pillar's room. So yeah, have seen it all. Not gonna rule out anything.
Yeah, definitely anything could happen. We could see multiple 2D skip deaths. I don't know. Luckily, it hasn't happened to Nitro yet, as far as I know. But tons of. We could see another invisible wall. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna see a dive back right here. These shards movement. This is a pretty, like, fun part of the game, I would say. Shards are fun in general in this game. It's a shame that no more of them are in the any % route, because just doing them fast is just very heavy movement. A lot of I don't know, similar to perhaps the all purple coins routing. You just gotta move and throw Cappy in a bunch of different places.
Yeah, chart moons tend to be pretty slow. Obviously, there's also this cutscene spawning the moon and after you actually collected all of the shards. So sadly, we don't really see much more interesting shards move in this category. But we still have this one, and we will, as far as we know at this point in time, never be able to skip it, because there's actually been some experimenting with the game. If you don't collect these story moons, the kingdom will not progress, so you won't even be able to make it to the final boss, hence never actually be able to leave Bowser's kingdom. So these moons, this shards moon in general, will probably stay 90% forever, as far as we know at the moment.
Yeah. Dansta, by the way, saying in chat about his forks that he was on gold pace, but he just went for it too quickly, I believe. But I'm not sure if he's referring to that. But anyways, we have the Brutals right here. This is a very hype part of the run. Chat, of course, get out your favorite Brutal emote. Now, we do have, unfortunately, today, 2 of the Harriet First variety runners. That is how they will be branded. We got some Micro Smugs in the chat, I see already. But I'll throw in a GSA H, you know. Us topper firsters, we're respectful. We respect that, you know, people have their decisions. They might be the wrong decision, you know. They might cause you to take damage. You might not be able to grab that checkpoint flag in between. But hey, if you guys do Harriet first, that's all the more room for us to PB and bop you on the leaderboards. So,
yeah, for sure.
We'll
so I actually got distracted by Dansta's dive board there, going 2 shards. That was some pretty hot stuff. I do want to say I do enjoy the banter between Harriet First and Topper First, but as you said, I don't think we will see anyone doing some memes today. Even though it's April Fools, I think these guys will stay serious and actually choose the right strategy for the boss fight instead, you know?
Yes. Both of these guys, of course, I don't know. I almost feel like at this point, you're so mentally used to how you do the run. Like, even though it is a meme and it doesn't matter, like, it kind of like, you kind of like to do what you're used to doing.
For sure. Dansta going for the capture warp here. Hopefully he actually got held back a little bit on that wall, but is still fast enough to get Cappy to home back in.
Yes, and Dansta is now on to the brutal fights himself. Nicro gonna get that crate soon. This is actually another part, like kind of like, you know, Forks, where most places in this game you can't die, but like here, this is another part where you fall off these crates. Oh, and we're seeing almost that from Nicro. That's not the movement you want to see, but it's okay because we did get in there.
We did. All right.
Another kind of risky jump here. Not that bad of a jump, but like you get, yeah.
Yeah, it is a risky one, and Nick actually kind of noticed that he might have jumped actually too late. I mean, not too late. He was jumping so late that if he actually delayed his dive, he might have actually still bombed. So he kind of moved back a little bit on his cap dive, being able to bridge that gap. Now rolling towards Meg. One of these lurking time losses if you make a mistake, and he surely wants to avoid that one. If he's past this one, he really can feel quite confident to actually get his first win here, as long as he doesn't completely throw in the escape section.
Yep, some of the most precise angles in the game at this part. So definitely, at least he got up the climb first try. I remember you said earlier that was the hardest part for Mech, and I'd be inclined to agree to some extent. Target acquired, of course, is still quite hard, and if you miss target acquired, that's worse than just missing the climb, I'd say. So we will see how that goes for him. Dansta kind of hoping for a miracle here, but you never know what's going to happen. This is, I definitely not over him. I would say at least that much. Let's see.
Oh, that's late.
No, that's not the movement. Wow, commentators, first this target acquired. This is huge for Dansta. Of course, you know, like Dansta isn't tied yet. He's still quite a bit of things to go, but I don't know. We'll see how this recovery goes. Nicro probably not used to recovering from this scenario because trying to go for the up throw, but he's not. He did. Okay.
Looks like he is, because he went for the optimal backup, which was the up throwing, spinning the bird in the air. So actually, optimal backup. Losing that hit is quite unfortunate. The worst mistake that can actually happen is missing topper. That hurts you a little bit more because you actually don't get the chance to climb up the max legs afterwards. But yeah, clutch backup is going to lose a decent chunk of time, but I guess does the damage control he could have.
Yes, indeed. Looks like chat's saying that lost about 30 seconds. So, of course, there's still quite a bit of lead to cut through here. But, you know, at this point, maybe like a 2D skip fail, maybe something like that. You gotta hold out. You never know what's gonna happen.
For sure. Well, quite interesting how Nick ended up losing that. I think he just either dropped his dive input. Okay, being able to stay on top of the mech, almost spin pounding through the platform and the top of it. But yeah, that's actually one of the most common mistakes that can happen if you miss target acquired. If you like miss your dive input, you will be too late. You won't have time to spin pound the bubble. The mech will already have turned. Let's see if Dansta can get a good hit for himself.
Yep, Dansta will also be going for that target acquired. If you have any emotes with sunglasses, I would say, any shades emotes, put them in chat, because once we hit target acquired, we are super cool.
Hopefully, though. Let's see if Dansta gets very quick dives.
Target acquired.
He acquired the target very quickly. Super quick dives, super quick spin pound. He's out of here.
Cool.
Now, Nick, heading to Moon, still got a 55 exit here in the Bowser's Kingdom, but that won't be enough for him to still get the 100 unless he does a miracle and skips portions of the run we don't know about. So it's probably going to be a high 101 for him.
Yeah.
But we've seen crazy Moon times. Smiles Pro, the legend of Moon in the community, actually posting a 508 Moon today.
Wow, I didn't hear about that just today.
Yeah,
That's
with
incredible.
visible mistakes. Like he entered the cathedral and didn't spin, but he like jumped, kept through, dove, So 507 is definitely something that he could do. Funnily enough, he actually told the story that he was just gonna actually do Muna L attempts and wanted to practice pillars, but on the way getting there, he got the 508. He just recorded his way to get to the pillars, and that was the 508. It was actually pretty interesting.
That's really crazy. Yeah, like I guess Miles Pro knew, you know, his 510, it was in danger. Some of these, oh, Nycro missing moon skip. I don't know what he was trying to go for there. Was he trying to go for the fast?
I don't think so. I think he just realized that his wall jump was too far to the right, so he wanted to basically like cancel his attempt as soon as possible, and manages to get it on the second try.
Yeah, but he knew that Nycro is right there. I would say Nycro and Chaos arguably are like two of those guys that could attack that 510, but at this point 508, it's like another 2 seconds. I don't know if any RTA runner at this point, like full game runner, can really challenge that time. Yeah. Maybe someday. I don't know. I always get surprised with this game.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday. All right, fast strat here to get the first head. Also going for the spin front and rolling while the spin front is kind of elapsing you. And Bowser fight is on. Now, even with mistakes here, that will still not be enough for Dansta to come in and close the gap, but we do have that escape section lurking. And we also, I mean, this is still a boss fight. This guy, even though his flame attack tends to be useless, he still does damage. And yeah, you can die.
Yep. The deadly flamethrower, the worst attack. You always gotta hope that Bowser doesn't pull it out of his pocket there. Has ruined every run, basically. But yeah, you know, even if you get hit by the flamethrower attack, it's not even that bad, because like you don't get a damage refill animation, so it doesn't even lose time per se, unless you get a death, of course. So really, yeah, really not that menacing Bowser today. Pillars are more menacing.
We are a little bit lucky there that our final boss is not really the hardest. It's not like we have to fight like Calamity Ganon with 3 HP. Now actually in Breath of the Wild they also like basically stun lock that guy, but yeah, Bowser not too deadly.
Yeah, Limcube, by the way, checking out that Breath of the Wild. I see you getting into that any % route. It's a really interesting run. But anyways, these guys finishing off a different speed game. And Nycro about to start the escape.
Escape time! Yep. This is where it's at. This is the one throw chance. So if anything in this run is gonna make him lose this 1-0 lead, it's gonna be probably not even the 2D section, because Dansta is just now starting the second phase of all. So he's basically still granted a death here, which is very unlikely but possible. Now, if a death was to happen in Pillar Room, and we talk about it a lot, but we've seen it in this league, that would probably actually allow Dansta to come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep holding out for, I don't know, I'm never ready to call it quits with these races, I've learned, you know, so you never know what's gonna happen. Of course, Nycro still hoping the best for him, getting that 2D skip, entering Pillars for him, and Nycro does have he does have the best Pillars time in the entire league, actually. Not only the best Pillars gold, but also the best average Pillars time, so he is consistent at it as well. We will see how he can finish this one off. Gonna be looking like mid 101 with falling off mech. That's pretty impressive. Maybe without that falling off mech, it could have been up.
I think you can actually get like,
it looks like. Yep.
You can get like a 101-10 still. It's pretty crazy. I mean, probably like a 12 if like that first pillar was actually insane. But if he keeps playing pillars like that, we could actually still get something like the 101-10, 101-13, 101-12 or 13.
Yeah, we are looking at a low to mid 101 here for Nycro, finishing it off. No invisible walls today for Nycro. We are, well, actually not cute. Nycro taking that victory. That's what matters. First out of 3 games. We will see you soon. Of course, we're going to look at Dansta finishing up his run. Might as well. Going through that 2D skip. At this point, Dansta just kind of, I don't know if he's necessarily watching the stream. Maybe, I don't know. Honestly, if I was Dansta at this point, there's nothing, you know, I'm already trying to go as fast as possible. I would probably just watch the stream, just try to focus on finishing my run strong. GG's to Nycro. We're still going to be here, though, so make sure to stay tuned because we got a lot more racing action, including at least one more of these races. But Dansta entering Pillar's Room. Let's see him get
Let's
this
get
102.
it. Let's get it. 102 is obviously still on the table. Once again, he's just going to close this one out and then catch a little break to refresh his mindset, because we are going to be having an immediate second race after this, and depending on the outcome of this, potentially even a third one. Now, after seeing both of these guys play, what would you... I mean, can you even do that? But I was about to ask, is there any predictions you want to mention before we go into the break?
Sure, you know, I'll make a prediction. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Dansta, I feel like he's really motivated and he's on fire today. Nerfs can get you in the first race, and I feel like once you get like a death like that, I don't know. It kind of reminds me about how Curbs, you know, is the same death that Curbs had in his amazing 1002x pace run back in the day, early November. And he eventually came back from that. Now, granted, he didn't come back from it the next run after, but I don't know. I would say this. Both runners are going to do better than their current times this race, is my prediction. There definitely is a lot of time to improve, and 101.15 is actually like one of Nicro's slowest races, which is kind of crazy to think. But like he's gotten so many 100s lately. He got 5 100s, by the way, in the league. So I'll say at least both of them are going to improve. I don't know. Is Dansta going to win the second match? It is hard. Like, it's hard for me. I want to say yes, but I don't know, man. Like,
well, we will find out. But
depends on early game. I'd say if Dansta gets like something close to a 10 flat early game, he's got that confidence. I think he can keep it rolling and really take a win. Even though that sounds so unlikely, I know Nicro went undefeated, but think about all like Curbs went undefeated until the finals of the last tournament, and then Chaos came and won 2 in a row against them. So I don't know. Now it's sort of Dansta knows that, like, you know, it's all or nothing. I think that could be a good opportunity for them. These runners are going to take a quick break, by the way. Commentators, I don't know what we're going to do for that portion. We will get the interviews after both races are finished, I assume. But yeah, we'll let these guys take their much-deserved break. How are we doing, chat? Dance the golden... Wow, look at this. Dance the golden moon by 0.9 seconds in that run. We got word from the man himself. That's pretty impressive. The gold moon by 0.9 seconds. 5:14.0. Thank you. That's the time. So it's not quite like, of course, you know, not matching Nicro's gold, but like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of those two situations that I mentioned before. Where like, yeah, you got that big time save, but you're playing out of your mind for the rest of the game. You know, even if you can't catch up, even if it's not possible to catch up, like the best you can do is play the best that you can. So I really applaud Dansta for not relaxing at all, getting that 5:14. What was Dance's time? It was about like a 102 mid about. And he set the previous gold in his new PB. 102.38. That is Dance's time. Yeah, the pillars were pretty good. I don't know. Time to commentators to drink water. We're ready to go here. Lots of energy, the commentators. But we're not used to doing two like this. Now we have chat saying now that Necro's warmed up. Oh, sorry. Trying to fix the mic here. How about this? Mic should be a little better now. Now that Nicro has warmed up, I think he can do a lot better. Yeah. I agree. I think Nicro is definitely one of those guys that, like, you know, he does these long grinds after a few races. He's probably more prepared. Yeah, I agree. I think it could have been a 1004X for Nicro if he had not messed up on mech, possibly. Because he did lose about 30 seconds there.
All right, and looks like
What's
we
up,
are
Limcube?
already getting back into it. Just got a little bit of a break myself. We have potential 2 matches to go still. But it's obviously going to be interesting. Now, Dansta has been playing a lot today, as you mentioned. I actually don't know if Nick has been doing runs before this, or if this was his first one. If this was his first one, this was already still pretty impressive. As you just mentioned, this was
No,
100 potential.
yeah, I agree. I think that Necro is the sort of guy, like his first no reset yesterday was kind of like mediocre compared to his next one. So I think he could improve. Like I said, I think both runners will definitely improve. But at the same time, I think Dansta can beat the time that Nicro just got, no doubt. You know, a 101.10 or whatever, he has beaten that. He got a 101.04 in a race. So definitely Dansta is capable of beating that time. We're going to see these guys enter Cap Kingdom. Who knows? I think, you know, once every few races, Dansta gets like an early game that pops off. I think this could be it.
I want to see Dansta's revenge on Cap. We've seen him, yeah, almost demolish Nick in this first capping, and then he ended up making that mistake on that lever, not going for the first person. But I want to see his final form right now. Hopefully getting all of the strikes, because it's always amazing to see how much better he actually is at this kingdom than everyone else.
Yes, he is. Hopefully, he nails everything. Tends to,
I mean,
you know,
just look
he's
at
very
this.
good. Like, look at those rolls right there. Those rolls, I don't know. If you've seen a lot of rolls in Cap Kingdom, like Limcube and I have, those rolls are pretty impressive. And going for a spin throw looked like.
That's actually allowing him to buffer the spin pawn easier. I think he's going to get that spin pawn off, but he actually taken a little bit, but he's rolling away.
And getting the nice rail roll over there. Nicro not going for the roll on the rail. Slightly faster. All these little things.
It's actually always so impressive. I mean, once again, there's people that have made fun of him of actually empathizing so much on this kingdom, but this is really like true mastery of a kingdom.
Yeah, by the way, it turned out Dansta actually has gotten already 218s. I don't know if you knew that already.
Oh,
but,
I actually did.
Yeah, he's gotten a second 218, so very impressive. Dansta, I don't know. Oh my god, and I say that as he misses left side. Okay, let's see. He does have a quick recovery, though. It's funny that... no, he bonks and he... Oh, wow. Yeah, so that just having to do that movement he's not used to, recovering from left side, but hey, he makes it up.
Well, he got his time to shine. He definitely showed off, but once again, very unfortunate mistake. Now, for actually missing left side, this is still not the biggest difference here. He missed left side, he bonked, he had to actually like pause, and he is still hanging in there. Like, this lead is not absolutely massive. We see the logo P here at 13 for Nick. It's going to be at 15 still for Dance. It's only really 2+ seconds behind here after some mistakes that should have lost him way more time. He's still going to be getting like a 226 here, maybe 225 with huge mistakes though, so impressive.
Just to clarify for chat, yes, these guys could be doing we could be seeing up to 9 hours of racing at this point from these runners in the next 3 days. But basically we're doing up to 3, it's a best of 3, best of 3s. So if Nicro just wins every race, then we're only going to see 4 hours of racing, because he'll win 2 out of 3 this set, and then 2 out of 3 the next set, and then it's over. Both of these guys getting the first minion skip, by the way, without the wall jump, which is quite impressive. Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen. And both of these guys, like, you know, you lose one race and it's not over. So even though Dansta did lose a race, not even close to over. A lot of races to go for these guys in the playoff match. Winner goes to pace, loser does not go to pace. So it's all or nothing here.
Yep, that's pretty much it now. This is the reason Dansta grabs so many coins in this swing room. I don't know what exactly causes him to like this more, but he actually likes to switch sides after the first Metamudo hit, so he's not gonna mess with the coins that the boss drops here. And this is why he does those 2 cap frozen swings. I'm not sure if he actually loses any time to this, maybe just a tiny fraction, but I mean, it's personal preference and it's still working for him.
Yeah. And I would say at least the potential for a time loss on Madame Brutal is quite large, in that, like, if you aren't able to set up that cap throw in time, and you have to, and then Brutal's going to chase you around basically to try to whip your chain chomp. That could lose like at least 7 seconds, I say, you know, versus like another cap throw in Sphinx Room maybe is like, 0.3 seconds or something.
Yeah, around that probably.
So it could be maybe even it's a better race strat, you know. But we are going to see these guys attempt chest clip. Dansta did not get chest clip in his first race. Nicro did get chest clip. So if Dansta gets chest clip, then and Nicro doesn't, then Dansta's in the lead right here. Like it's that close right now.
We have actually seen Dansta miss chest clip in his first race. He's still going to go for a pretty fast variation of it now. Nick gets the clip, but Dansta is going to be able to match him. So we have a pretty even cascade exit here for what actually happened in Cap. So Dansta definitely with clearly better early game gameplay. Just had unfortunate mistakes in Cap, but made up some time in Cascade already.
Yes, indeed. We got about only 1 second between these runners. It's funny because if either one of these guys, like, we'll see what happens with Fast Action Guide, but if Nicro misses it and Dansta gets it, we could see a tie again, you know, just even though in the cutscenes they're not. So, Fast Action Guide, one of those little tricks. Limcube thinks it's impossible to do consistently. I don't know. Or at least we don't know how to do it consistently. Stravos might be one of those guys disagreeing with that, but who knows? I don't know. It is definitely very hard.
Let's see if these guys have figured out now. Nicro, actually both of them getting it this time. That's nice to see. We won't have any early time losses here in Sand. Looking back at the last race, we did see Nick actually struggle quite heavily with the second Sphinx clip. Let's see if he has any issues with this today. It's obviously also worth recapping that we probably won't see them go for the fastest sand route, which Nick actually ended up doing in his sub-hour. Dansta has been messing with it as well to get very nice sand exit times. But seems like bottom will be going for the Rumble Room instead. It's the safe version, doesn't lose too much time. And to actually save time with the fastest sand route, you need to be pretty much on your A-game.
Yeah, that bird cycle, very tight with the new sand route, but it's okay. The bird cycle is still pretty tight even without the new sand route, all things considered. If you do double clip, you know, we're already going for a tight bird cycle. So,
wow.
Look at this. This is a perfect sync.
The attack helicopter spin count. That's what I like to call the attack helicopter spin count. If you actually miss your spin position, you have to kind of attack helicopter to the right spot. Nick is able to do so, but Dan's actually outracing him here. Actually not completely sure. Looks like he has a tiny lead, a couple frames now on that archway.
Oh, but everything could change here as Dansta goes for it. See, this is a perfect comparison of Ice Dram versus normal Dram.
Missed it. He actually has Cappy on his head right now. So he won't get any drams at all. Dansta taking a pretty confident lead. Now Nick was actually going for a pretty neat backup. He's not going to be able to get back up. He has to reclimb the ice pillar. He committed to the very fast backup, actually up throwing, trying to catch the bullet bill, but he missed it. Now he can actually capture the
Mario meltdown.
But Cappy's not cooperating. It looked like this bullet bill is about to time out, but once you capture it for the first time, the timer resets. So he's still going to be able to make it all the way over to the pillar.
Wow, that was a big time loss for Nicro. This sets the whole story of this race apart right here. Now it's, you know, we might see this lead. We'll see how Sphinx clip goes. Dansta not getting Sphinx clip first try, but it's okay. But yeah, Dansta might be able to keep this lead for a few kingdoms here. This is basically what I was saying last race. Like if Dansta gets the lead early game and can kind of maintain late game, that's all he needs, you know. So this definitely changes things up quite a bit.
Now second clip, the one that, I mean, it's hard to say. Actually, technically, if you miss it once, it doesn't matter as much as the first clip because you're still working with the bird cycle. But he was able to get that second clip first try. Nick doing the same, matching him right there. So we are done with Sphinx clip. No big issues there in this race.
Yes, indeed. Dansta now having a pretty handy lead. Going into Jaxi skip. Dansta has missed Jaxi skip in one of his races, by the way. That was a classic race. Dansta had to go and get employees only moon. Probably the only time we've seen employees only in a GSA league match. But he saved himself. Yeah. But luckily, yep. I kind of waited till like I saw Dansta was gonna get it to say that, because
Exactly, because I
that's
was
the
about to
worst.
say that race was a specific instance where it seemed like one of my co-commentators actually, like, literally was casting curses left and right because everything he said kind of happened to Dancer. He ended up missing Jaxi skip and dying, and then on the second attempt he almost died again, but actually saved himself and had to go for MPs only. That was interesting.
Wow. Was that, I don't know. Reminds me of the classic Dangers Invisible commentary curse.
Yep, wasn't dangerous in this case, but I mean, doesn't really matter. Looks like Dancer will not get the one spin throw notes there. Was kind of moving a little bit back. Let's see if Nick is going to keep his consistency high with this. I was praising him for this earlier. This looks good.
He does. Commentator blessing right there. That's what you
This
call
is
it, you know?
blessing. But good job. Now, Nick, definitely pretty annoying time loss here in Sand after missing Dram and then really struggling to actually capture the bullet bill. But he's out of here and it's not
So it's funny.
too drastic.
Yep, we are looking at these and exits. This is pretty good for all those Cap Kingdom mistakes, which lost a few seconds. 10:09, we'll take those. People in chat or Speedrun asking also who PB'd, have people PB'd in the league. Funny that you say that because Dansta got his old PB 101.04 in his race against Nicro in the league. So these guys raced and Dansta PB'd in that race.
But
As far as I know, that's yeah.
Funnily enough, Nick still won. That's was
Yeah.
a pretty high quality race there.
So, but you never know what's going to happen. And like I said, given what Nicro just got, Dansta can definitely get a time below the time that Nicro just got for the last race. Even though this is a number 1 seed versus number 8 seed, I would say this race is a lot closer than it appears. And even, like, this is not, like, this is one of the closest playoff matches. Closer than some of the other playoff matches, for sure, at least in my opinion. So, it'll be exciting to see. Dansta, of course, like we said, not as good at lead clip as Nicro, at least historically. We'll see how he can get it today.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, getting a fake clip.
A fake clip. Pretty annoying. You like to get excited when Cappy actually immediately clips, but isn't able to clip into the wall there. Gets it on his, I think, 3rd attempt now, and is going to be able to grab that checkpoint. That's obviously the crucial part here. Nick, once again, making Cappy clip immediately. And you mentioned that last race, he is really strong at this specific trick.
Quick recovery for Dansta from the fake clip, though. Still keeping the lead. That's what you want to see, I would say. Dansta needs this buffer, that's what he's probably thinking, like, well, great, I have this buffer, I'm going to do my best to keep it. Uh-oh. Don't want to dive in the wrong direction there.
The roll was actually clutch. You kind of want to roll twice, as Nick is doing it right here, basically spacing your roll to be able to get height to, yeah, kind of scale that little mount, but Dancer still times this roll correctly to be able to roll over it, and is still going to keep his lead, but actually bleeding some time here in that section of lake.
Yes, indeed. And just as a reminder for chat, even though the playoffs are up to 9 hours each, it's over separate days. So today we're going to see a maximum of 3 races from these guys. No more than that, definitely. Possibly only 2 if Nicro wins this. Then we're just going to end the set because then Nicro wins the set. But we will see what happens. Dansta getting that warp out of lake before Nicro.
Nick has to work a little bit for this because, as we see, Dansta does have the lead right now. Going into Wooded, which has been, at least last race, probably Nicro's strongest performance. I'd say Wooded, Snow, and Seaside have looked pretty much flawless. Would be insane for him to repeat that. Even getting like the triple jump on the ramp, the rolls across, pretty much going for all of the strats and nailing them. So we will probably see some route divergence here, since we've seen Dansta really opt for the original nut clip route where you grab the Piranha Story Moon even still. Nick is probably not going to opt for that and grab the Tree Moon instead.
Yeah, that was a 13-10 for Dansta, 13-16 for Nicro, so about a 6-second difference between these two runners, which is pretty impressive. Nicro definitely catching up on that late. I agree with what you said, though. Nicro definitely has the better Wooded than Dansta. Obviously has the better gold, but also he goes for some pretty crazy strats. He goes for tree root. He goes for triple jump. Triple jump though quite risky actually. So I don't know. That could prove to be kind of like his downfall. We'll see how this plays out. As we were talking to the shop. So right after this here. Dansta, by the way, we got some exclusive talk from the runners here. Dansta saying this race is starting just like his last race. So
is that the mental showing through? I'm not sure, but Dansta has still been playing well enough. It's not like he has been looking mentally disturbed here from his performance so far, and he's been doing well. He is also able to get that clip. It's crucial. And as mentioned, we do see the route divergence, Nick grabbing the tree moon, so it's gonna appear like Dansta's lead is a little bit bigger up until they make their way over to the crumbling tower. Let's see if ramp tree somewhere this time. Oh my god, I can't.
Oh no, the ramp!
What is it with this ramp? I was mentioning this last race.
Yeah, you had it right on the money that Dansta, and I agree that Dansta, like, even though he gets the out of bounds, he gets the hard parts. I mean, the ramp is still hard, but he gets like the parts that people mess up a lot. But the ramp definitely is one of those kind of underrated parts where.
Wait, I actually did we miss Nick missing nut clip? I was actually.
Wow, we're commentators really not on the ball today, not even looking at the game feed. But he did get rock clip pretty quickly. But yeah, that's a huge time loss there already. Like at least 10. So that, I mean, I don't know, losing a lot of time. I would say very fast backup, at least for Nicro. But, yeah, you never want to miss Nut Clip. At least he gets the ramp triple again. That's pretty impressive to get that twice in a row.
Yeah, and that's funny because I think overall, Dansta might have lost up to like 5-7 seconds maybe on that ramp section, and the backup that Nick was able to get at rock clip must have maybe still lost him 10 plus seconds, but he also went for the tree route, so overall we might actually end up this wooded, and unless they make big mistakes now, and pretty much the same deltas we've seen earlier, which would actually be pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we'll see these wooded exits. Definitely Nicro, like, that's why, like, I feel like you can be like a tricks runner in this game, or you can be like a guy basically that that has the movement so down. And Nicro, of course, to get sub hour, you need both. But he also, Nicro, you know, really has solid movement. So even though he misses one of the tricks, I would say his movement kind of makes up for that in a way.
Yeah. So if we remember last race, these guys were pretty much tied up going into the tower. This has been the section where they've been head-to-head pretty much up until Lost, where Dansta ended up making a mistake on the jump across the gap after doing the meme tree jump. So it's looking a little bit better so far for Dansta in this one. We are basically back together as far as routing goes. They have the same amount of moons technically. There's no difference anymore in terms of these routes. So this lead right now is accurate. We are probably looking at still around 20 seconds now.
20 seconds, that could be the number. Yeah, I mean, if it's 20 seconds, that definitely increased for Dansta. Oh, buddy, and again, not getting the stun cancel. Maybe he should think about switching that strat there. Instead of timing the press, you would mash. Well, I don't know. Who am I to say, you know? But Dansta still not that bad of a time loss. Still taking a solid lead here. Of course, these runners are synced up because they got the Piranha. They passed the Piranha now. Dansta entering pipes.
Nick is going to be able to keep his momentum from that vector. Once again going for the very optimal spin throw strat to break that nut. And yeah, pipes is pretty much the only section area between them. So as long as both of them get a good pipe, Dansta will keep this pretty much close to 20-second lead is what I would be expecting from this. And yeah, then going into Cloud, we would be surprised if it would change, but we definitely don't want to rule it out because mistakes in Cloud happen all the time still.
Yes, indeed. Dansta globing at 18-16 there. We'll see his exit. And yeah, I would say, I don't know, like, so far things are looking up for Dansta right here. Like, he already had, I guess, he had a good mentality coming into this because Nicro kind of fudged the dram there, but now also with Nicro missing Nut Clip, this is something that Dansta can work with here.
Yeah, for sure. He got a 36 exit. And Nicro is probably going to be getting, it looks like 15 seconds actually. I guess 20 seconds was a little bit too much. Yeah, going to be getting a 52. So looking like 16 seconds of difference between these two races as they approach Cloud.
Yeah, people in chat I see hoping for Dansta, and like, of course, commentators supposed to be unbiased. You know, like maybe I would be saying something different if Dansta won the first match, but well, I'll say this: I do want to see it go to 3 races today. I'm prepared for it. I don't know, got enough water here, but definitely like it would be so hyped to see this go to 3 races to really. So let's see if Dansta can make that happen for us.
Definitely always exciting. So now looking though at his lead, 16 seconds, which is a nice lead. I think in Dansta's position he would want to have a little bit more of a lead, because if you remember how the mid game went last game, this is really where Nicro started shining, and probably one of his best opportunities to come back from this, unless Dansta makes a crucial mistake and lost again. But I mean, you want to work with what you got, right? 16 seconds is still a nice lead to work with, especially now that he's out of Cloud without any missed phases or anything.
Yeah, you mentioned Dansta, of course, had some troubles and lost. And it's kind of funny because it's kind of a new style of commentary now when you're doing sets of 3, because we can refer to the past race. And yeah, that's definitely on Dansta's mind. Obviously, he remembers, you know, taking that death right at the beginning. We'll see if he makes the same mistake, if he manages to avoid that. But definitely, at least, it seems more likely now that he knows that to not make the same mistakes again. He does get the long jump. There we go. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, okay, this spot is just broken sometimes. I think the spin punches don't like round pound spots. Some of them just don't work on your first attempt. Wow, actually Nick going for the home in strategy there to allow himself to get the return jump. That's nice, because he wouldn't have gotten it naturally.
Yep, definitely. That's one of those advanced meme tree strats. Of course, another thing that Nicro did right here was he fell on the pole. And if you fall too far low on the pole, you get kleptoed. That would have been terrible, but he managed to stay high enough to save himself. But looks like, I don't know, we'll see if you can get the second pole. Not landing on the pole today. Solid playing in loss from both of these runners. But let's see. The hardest move lost. Cage triple jump. Oh no, as I say this, Dansta, the same mistake as last time.
I was about to say, like, he's actually been repeating some of these mistakes. Not only this one, which is like a weird mistake to make, right? But also we've seen the repeated mistake at ramp. We've seen, yes, kind of like a little run back. And this is obviously an unfortunate one, because that must have lost him so much time. He also has to take the damage now. And that 16-second lead might have just shrunk to something like 8.
Yeah, that was like a 10-second time loss almost right there, because he kind of missed the moon too. Oh no, this is not getting the moon. Okay, this is gonna have to do this again. Is Nicro gonna get it? Nicro does get it.
Oh no, this really hurts.
And now this is an awkward backup here, because you don't want to trigger Klepto. You can get it without triggering Klepto, and you just kind of have to die. Yeah. Okay. He's like, I'm taking it safe, taking it slow, making sure that we get it.
It's gonna take another death off of this one, because Cappy... Oh, actually, just returning in time. Very nice. And he can't land on that upper ledge, though. Okay, this is fine. Okay, this ball really denying him right now. But at least he's gonna be able to make his way out of loss without any klepto triggers. But his lead just turned into a lead for Nick.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if he bonked, and then like the height from the bonk caused him to land back on the top ledge?
Then clapped. Oh my god, that would have been like the ultimate punish. But yeah, I mean, I respect him for going super safe, but this is one of the most annoying moons to miss in Lost, this one under the bridge.
Yeah, definitely.
I think now in Night Metro we are probably looking at pretty much the same lead again. I'm not sure Dansta definitely lost quite a bit of time, but I think this must be around the lead that Nick had last race. Again, now in Night Metro.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Of course, like I said, Nicro has died in City Hall in league races before. So you do want to look out for that. Any fall from City Hall, I would say, and that could bring this race like back to, you know, being basically tied again. But we will look Hope that these runners manage to nail it okay. Not going for any cycles here. We're going for, what are we naming this cycle? Thank you. What would you name this?
I don't know, it's probably like the... I mean, it's like the OG cycle, but it sounds like lame as a name. I have no idea who eventually actually figured out the movement to be able to make it up to the elevator. This must have been like a week 1 strat or something.
I know Stravos used to have the BTT for the old movement for this, like without the Goryuya cycle, he had the BTT segment for this. Maybe we'll call it the Stravos cycle.
I mean, that also works. But we could also do some research and see you actually found that that way of getting up to the elevator before it moves away. But once again, it must
yeah, speaking of that, I hear that there is a video in the works now. We're looking up all these things. We're trying to find the history out as Nicro is doing the kind of the auto-scroller part of Wiggler. Now that the sub-hour has been achieved. I do hear that Small Ant is making a video about it. I don't know, maybe I do, but...
I don't think so. I definitely help out to provide information and data. It's definitely gonna be something that's worth documenting. I do still think this game has ways to go and ways to grow. There's gonna be a ton more records to be set. 20% is probably not that as many might suggest, but it's still gonna be interesting to see how this amazing story of the sub-hour unfolded, as Nick actually gets a pretty clean 2 seconds here.
Yeah, definitely. I actually totally agree with you. I don't think it's even close to over. I'm sure that, like, I don't know, Nicro might say that he's kind of... Oh, Dansta not getting that last hit there. It's a little bit of a time loss. At least not getting a 3 cycle, so not worse, but still unfortunate. Yeah, I do agree with you. It's not even close to over. I think we're going to see every runner in this league. I don't think any of them are really, like, you know... Like, I don't think any of them have gotten their last PB, to say.
No,
even Nicro, who says, like, you know, I'm indefinitely done. I don't know. I think we could see him come back to it one day.
Yeah, I don't even think he said he's like indefinitely done. I mean, he definitely deserves a break right now. But after looking at stuff like the BTT sheet, we know there's ridiculous stuff in there. But we know this category it can't be. It literally can't be over. It's amazing that we achieved that unthinkable barrier. But honestly, we're just getting started. I mean, that sounds like a little bit too much in terms of we're just getting started, because we have achieved a pretty nice level of optimization. But this game has ways to go and ways to grow.
Yeah, we are going to see Nicro premiere that BTT V3, I've heard, right? Saw that trailer, very amazing looking, so definitely get hyped for that.
I hope we will be able to prove that there's still some ways to improve our current times.
Yep, Dansta getting that drive-by scoop clip. We were doing okay. Another little known cycle here. I mean, it's pretty known, but there's a taxi, which you're trying to kind of... If you do this segment fast enough, you could beat the taxi. Otherwise, you kind of have to go around it. What should we name that cycle?
I don't know. The thing is, you can actually manipulate that cycle, and that's something minor that you might not catch, that many people might actually not catch runners do. But the reason they point their camera down while they travel through the wire to the mainland of Metro is actually to make the taxi stop moving, and that allows you a little bit more leniency.
Yeah, definitely. Most things in this game, I guess. You're talking about Dory, you're talking about taxis, you're talking about even the dogs, you know, you can manipulate all of them with your camera, which is kind of like, it adds another level of depth to this game, definitely. That it's like, not only are you controlling Mario, but you're also controlling like every other object in the world, you know? So, both directly through Cappy and indirectly through the camera. It's almost like it all works out this way. It's pretty incredible.
True stuff. Now, looks actually like as I mentioned earlier that the lead might be around the same, but looks like Dan is actually closer than he was last time, because if we remember correctly, we saw the story moon, like red screen, happening at the same time, but as that was happening for Nick, he was already making his way over to the park here where we find the bases, so he is looking a little bit more healthy. But actually, he did end up dying in Lost, but as you mentioned, and as we know now, Dansta's grabbing a ton of coins, so his coin count should still be extremely healthy. I think he has that at like 150 or something, so yeah, still grabbing a ton of coins, so he is free to go to Snow. So is Nick, so no routing divergence or like differences going into these next kingdoms.
Yes, indeed. Nick climbing up Tippy, getting the spin pound off of there. Quite difficult. Oh, about to see the bullseye buddy move right here for Nicro.
The bullseye
Let's
buddy
see, can he make a friend? All you people in chat. Oh, not getting the bullseye buddy. Second try.
Yep.
Maybe Dansta can get it here. There is kind of like a new strat. Some people decide to ground pound there before they can even see the shadow. I think that's what Nicro does, you know, and it's quite difficult because you really have to have great spatial awareness to do that. Some people kind of wait till you can see Mario's shadow. Yeah, Dansta also going before the shadow appears. Oh, both of them. Wow, Bullseye Buddy really not being friendly to these to our buddies today.
Not quite. Now, Nick is done with Metro. Both of them are actually struggling just a little bit going into this last sub room. But I'm just going to repeat myself, but it looks like the lead here is smaller going into Snow. But if we remember, once again, and this is the time where we look at last race, this has been Nick's strongest suit last time. This basically Snow and Seaside. And if he's able to repeat that, he's definitely going to make it a little bit harder for Dansta to catch up. But Snow has some scary sections, has some potential for deaths. So he needs to keep playing well.
Yeah, that's about a 30-16 for Nicro. Fade out. We will see whether Dansta can match that. Or, I mean, not match it, but like how far behind he is going into Snow. This is what he needs to make up. This is all what matters right here. Looking like a 30-42 high for Dansta. Snow, of course, a lot of interesting things happening in Snow. Snow Clip, Snow Dram, both of those things. Actually, like, at this point, you know, 1 or 2 missed Snow Drams, maybe even 1 missed Snow Dram from Nicro. And Dansta could be in contention still here, I would say. So,
exactly.
I remember during their league race, too, they were, like, tied in Metro, you know, so, definitely, like, Dansta he's shown that even in the mid-game, he's a very solid player. But, of course, it's hard to match the MSSL of NicroVeda.
Yeah. Now, the thing is with MSSL, what's actually interesting about it, and this is also why we like to point it out, other than Snowdram, which is like this big time loss, the entirety of MSSL actually doesn't have too many like very big and scary time losses, such as like falling of mechs. Something like that doesn't exist. There is Snowdram and there is mech, but these mistakes tend to happen less and less, especially the 3 cycle is something that runners understand so well right now that we really rarely see it. Like, basically, you need to make some very obvious mistakes, such as overheating with the tank. But other than that, these kingdoms tend to be pretty fine in terms of risk. Like, I think you actually mentioned yesterday how Day Metro is a kingdom where you can't really die. But Seaside is a kingdom where you probably actually can't die unless you, like, drown. So it's such a safe quote-unquote kingdom, and as long as you play well, and even if you don't play well, you don't lose insane amounts of time usually.
Yeah, I wonder if it's possible to like die falling out of the bounds, like if you fall below the death plane or something like that. But actually, I don't know. You'd really have to be trying for that.
You actually can't.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, the game really. Really making it easy for us there. I guess, you know, you could get really unlucky with the sea bacon.
Okay,
it would be difficult.
That would be a very interesting death. I'm not sure if these guys would deserve playing in this league if they die to the sea bacon. But yeah, well, Snow, though, actually does have some potential for deaths. I mean, there is the poison in the Snow, in the Blowy Joy room, and there's this room. We've seen people die there. Actually, we've seen people intentionally die there, because if you make a Goomba fall off, dying is the fastest way to reset that room, because it won't respawn, and you need 4 Goombas to hit that switch.
Yes, indeed. And let's see if Dansta gets the Goombas. Got to be on his side there. Of course, in this side, in this room, you can almost have something that's like worse than a death. Is that if a Goomba, or a death not of Mario but of one of the Goombas, it's happened before. It is kind of RNG. You can of course like a little bit manipulate the Goombas with the camera and based on where Mario is, but ultimately their movement is RNG. So,
Exactly.
but we're not going to see that today. Both of these races, luckily, Goomba's agreeing with us.
Yep, looks good.
And Nitro is about to do Snowdram.
Snowdram time on your left screen. Micro already initiating the warp, and we did mention that this has been one of his demons that he seemed to have defeated. And actually not being it on top of the roof of the Odyssey. This is the less unfortunate fall. This is the one that matters. We'll make it over there.
Yep, that's what you want to see. A Snowdram like that. I mean, I don't know. As long as you're not taking, I guess you can fail in a few different ways. If you really commit to it and fail, you're losing at least 20 seconds. But if you just kind of get a bad vault and then realize it and then dive back, you're only losing like 5 seconds to 7 seconds. So not that bad.
Well, Dan says to go through this himself, starting over the spin point, actually walking to a interesting spot. Not sure why that was his decision, but is going to be able to make Snowdram himself, gets the home and onto the chest, and is also going to make his way over to Seaside now. This specific portion of the run, once again, he has been kind of like staying close to Nick. He's still been creeping, and even though, as we just mentioned, Seaside is one of the less risky kingdoms, there is this one risk lurking at that out of bounds section where you could technically clip back in and then would need to talk to the Sphinx, which would probably lose Nick his lead at this point even still. Other than that, I don't see the lead changing here, but we have Luncheon coming immediately after, which technically can do that easily with sections like Fox, we've seen it from Dansta, and Turnip.
Yes, and even these first moons, luckily Nitro got that first moon in Seaside okay, but these first 3 moons of Seaside, I would say, like, are pretty high difficulty. Because you can take a bonk there. Like, any vertical movement, like you said, tends to be pretty difficult and slow in this game. So there's a lot of vertical movement with these first 3 moons. So we're going up, then down, then up again. Oh, and as I say that, Nitro taking a bonk there. Uh-oh. Kind of messing up the movement after, too, but it looks like he'll be okay getting the moon. Not the worst time loss, but that yeah.
You could actually start like judging bonks. You know how we were talking earlier about bonks losing different amounts of time? This was probably like a 4-second bonk. Because not only did you end up getting the bonk animation and the stun lock, but you also fell down, having to climb back up.
Yes, and now Dansta will be attempting the same moon. Oh, wow, look at this. These runners just syncing up today, making the same mistakes. That's kind of crazy.
Oh.
And Dansta not getting the backup movement, but it's okay. He does get the moon eventually. I would say probably lost, you know, I don't know. He, like, overall, to Nitro, he probably only lost, like, a second or 2 there, you know, because it was his backup was slightly worse. But, we're grabbing the fish here. About to do a series of kind of, I don't know, fish movement is pretty interesting in this game, like you said, like, you're just going in a straight line, but it is more complicated than it appears, because straight lines in 3D spaces are not too simple, and plus, you can boost the fish on any time that you turn. I don't know, hopefully you're not going to sea bacon death today. Oh wow, Nitro really doing well, avoiding the sea bacon death in Seaside.
Okay, well done. Now it's time for this clip. Dance actually ended up missing this clip on his first attempt in last race. This clip is probably, though, the easy part, and even though this moon rep isn't necessarily hard, we see that you still want to space out your hitbox correctly. And this is probably the instance where you see that this shaking hitbox is actually quite broken. So Nick staying extremely safe there, not threatening himself to clip back into bounds. He is going to be able to get out of Seaside. Definitely not as clean as last time, but it's not good. Like, if we compare to Dansta, we might still see a better Seaside split time for Nick.
All right, Dansta eventually getting in out of bounds there for the clip. And he will be entering the Sphinx room. Now let's see these fade outs, because this basically determines how much he has to make up. 38-28 for Nitro. Yeah, okay. The timers are slightly unsynced right now, but we can still see from the timers on screen that. Oh, Dansta missing the globe there also.
Yeah.
These little mistakes.
That's unfortunate. But I mean, it's not a big time. It's just a very. This is one where you get mad at yourself, even though you're not losing much time, just because you slightly, yeah, missed that angle of the control stick. But yeah, it's
Yep, that's the
lunchtime.
38, 59, 31 seconds apart for these two runners. Relying on chat here for my time differences. Thank you, chat.
Good job. Okay, this is the lunchtime. Looks like we are getting the streams back on sync. They're just pausing real quick on Nick. I was about to say that this is the kingdom that can cause a little bit more of a hassle than Seaside and, I mean, not Snow, because Snow does have some risky jumps and runes. But yeah, Luncheon, we were talking about Turnip Clip, we were talking about Fox, as Dansta was showing off last time, as some scary sections.
Yes. Even the beginning of Luncheon's Salt Triple is hard, but like you said, I would say the scariest sections of Luncheon are going to be that Forks Room and Turnip Clip. Forks Room you expect to go well, I guess, but Turnip Clip, like you could lose a variable amount of time, depending on the positioning, how you throw the turnip, whatever. But yeah, Forks Room you're just trying to not die, and there are some little optimizations you can make.
And we know, as you know, we talk a lot about the very, very awkwardly long moon that Speward is, and we were actually able to catch them both in the fight at the same time. Now, the lead is actually way bigger than it seems, because they are exactly the same moon, but yeah, it takes very long to defeat this boss, and it takes pretty long to yeah, watch the cutscenes afterwards. Looks like Dansta's actually mentioning that it seems like his internet has been showing some issues right now, and this is probably why we are dropping some frames here on your guys' right side of the screen. We are probably at this point working on getting you guys the best experience as possible, but I mean, as we all know, internet problems just happen sometimes, not much we can do, so we're just gonna have to stick through it. Looks like we are back for now, though.
Yeah, I'm sure Nicro can agree with that. Nicro, of course, has had to take even breaks from streaming sometimes due to internet problems. But he's taking a bonk in that room, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way of the world. Hopefully, the stream looking good right now. So hopefully we'll be able to finish this race up just fine. And Nicro going for no manip necessary here. Normally in speedruns we do manips to be fast, but here we do a manip to be slow, but you cannot do the manip to be even faster, although slightly riskier. And he gets it.
Nicely done. Now, very scary. Okay, that was cool. That's actually unplugging the wrong turnip and just yeeting it off the stage. I think he actually wanted to throw it into the lava, but the white turnip was still sitting. Because, yeah, for turnip clip, it actually doesn't matter which turnip you pick, but for this moon, you need the golden one. If you pick the white one for this, the moon will just simply not appear. So, yeah, correcting his mistake.
Give you a few coins. Or I think only one coin. It's kind of a ripoff when you think about it, actually. Yeah, 1 coin for a turnip.
That's not a good trade, in my opinion. This turnip is actually broken. You can literally clip through walls with it, and you get 1 coin in exchange. I wouldn't make that trade.
Yeah, in Harvest Moon, they're worth more than that. But anyways, we're going about to do turnip clip here.
Okay, getting the capture on that fork for Dansta. His demons might be defeated here. Still has to get that jump to the other side, but hopefully being able to do so. Alright. This is still close.
Looking good, and yeah, I agree. Dansta luckily making it out of Forks alive. That's what we want to see. Ugh. Going up, getting the Podoboo jump. I don't know, I would say that, really, Dansta is playing well for these last few splits. Obviously, you did have that bonk in Seaside, but other than that, I mean, I speak before Turnip Clip, but hopefully you get Turnip Clip only about 35 seconds apart for these runners now, according to chat. So, that looks like it could work, maybe a little bit far away.
That's fine.
Oh, it looks far, but I think it can work, yep. That's pretty good for Dansta. That's what I was worried about, basically. Now that that's over, I don't know, like Nicro falls off mech again. Basically, 35 seconds. Nicro falls off mech, and now
I
these
was
guys
about
are
to
tied.
mention that, yeah. That's exactly basically the time that he has to work with. That's the one mistake that he could allow himself again, but if he was to do that, they would be pretty much synced up again.
Getting the fast
move
here.
Dansta's not gonna like that cap position. Actually, kind of Cappy bonked on that torch there, but he will still, hit Cappy at the very right. So still making that vault work. Nice reaction. And as long as he makes those jumps across the lava.
Oh no!
There's a backup for this. There is a backup for this. He actually missed running up the ledge, but oh wait, that's some risky movement. Okay, I think this is fine. He won't get a damage refill because there's a checkpoint and this is a multi-moon either way. Still a time loss, but this could have been way worse.
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty good backup. That was
solid, yeah.
Cool movement, by the way. So, I don't know. Of course, now I would say that was like a 44-40, about 44-39 for Nicro fade out. We'll see whether this is more or less than 35 seconds. It's going to be a little more. Probably be about like 40 seconds. But, yeah, as we go on to Ruined here. The best kingdom in the game.
Yep, not expecting many lead changes here in this one, unless we see the unthinkable, the unspeakable Ruined Death.
I don't know, man.
I doubt it.
Happened to Ekwan.
Was that in the league, actually? Or was that in the tournament prior?
I think it did happen once in the league. I don't know. Like, how do you get a 107 without, if you're a 10038 guy, without dying in Ruin? It seems kind of hard. Like, I feel like he had to die in Ruin for that, right? But I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll have to look back in the VODs for that one, and we'll look back in the record books. But I think he did once.
Okay, I'm not expecting Nick to have that happen. Actually, not sure if I have seen him die in this kingdom. There's these couple runners that we have seen take a death here, even on good pace. But let's not shame them here in front of the public. Instead, we still have once again.
Of course, Ekwan has been improving a lot, and I am looking forward to the playoff match. Did just get a new PP, by the way, 100-25. So
good stuff. Well, instead of shaming these guys, we do have another topic, and this is once again apparent. We did just mention this in the last Ruin, but in case if you have missed it, we are not playing a best of 3 series or up to 3 best of series for no reason. This is all about qualifying for our first competitive live event, Pace, taking place at the end of this month in Maryland Laurel, the Xanadu location, which is used by UG Bootcamp, for example, for their Smash Week. It's a pretty awesome location, and we are going to be having all of that live racing content over there. It's going to be obviously on our Twitch channel right here, but if you guys by any chance want to actually catch that action live, meet the runners, hang out, play some games, get destroyed by me in Smash, and all of that funny stuff, you could actually type an !PACE right now to find out all about that event. Registration is still open. Make sure to read the info and maybe see you there.
Yep, getting some bits. Dansta's getting some bits in chat. Go Dansta. Got some cheers. Yep, I don't know. Maybe he'll kind of work off the power of the bits right there. But yeah, Pace, super excited. I don't know if LimCube just mentioned again, but I'll plug it for him. I'll be LimCube's PR assistant for his glitches exhibition, not a glitchless exhibition. If you came for a glitchless exhibition, you went to the wrong convention.
True.
But a glitches exhibition of Super Mario Odyssey will be at Pace. LimCube will be the one running that. I've seen him kind of route that a little bit, and he's got a lot of really interesting stuff planned, stuff that you're not used to seeing in the any % route, perhaps. Stuff that maybe could save time one day. Who knows? But yeah, very, very exciting.
Who knows? Some pretty exciting stuff there. Cooked that one up together with the big boys like Circle and so on, so it's definitely going to be some exciting content. But yeah, not only that, we're also going to have some other showcase runs and races that we haven't seen on this channel yet, such as Ocarina of Time and all of the big boys. We're going to have Gymnast over, going to have amazing races in SM64, 120 star, some big attendees, so pretty hype event. I'm getting really excited now. Also getting excited though for this races, Nicro. is now leading into Bowser's, and it is quite worth to say that if he wins this one, he has his first foot in pace already. Only one more step to go, and then he's in there competing for the best racer in the world.
Yes, I would say if you win pace, I would consider definitely the best racer title goes to that. It's kind of like a unique event, one of its kind. There's nowhere else where you can see like a live competitive speedrunning finals. So something that I would recommend attending or at least watching if you're not in the area. But because it will be streamed on this channel.
Yeah. Also, by the way, and that's actually a great point that we haven't really gotten into too much here by Shruth in chat, that Nick at this point is still undefeated, just basically won his 12th match last time and is about to maybe take his 13th here as well. And if he somehow is able to actually win 15 matches in a row, then I mean, there's literally no doubt that he is a top contender for the title at pace. That's exactly the number of wins he would need to actually auto-qualify if he takes this series to 0 and the next one as well. He would be 15 and 0.
Oh, no doubt. He's definitely also like, it's so amazing because, you know, obviously Nitro is so dominant, but like he's had close calls before. It's almost like, I don't know, it's like fate, kind of how it's played out in his favor every time. Like in a race between Ekwon, actually, Ekwon was like winning, if I recall correctly, in Escape, and then Ekwon died on 2D Skip, and Nitro was able to take that win. So definitely, like, I wouldn't say he's invincible. No one is invincible in the league, you know? You might think, oh, he's won so many races, he's invincible. No one's invincible. But does, no doubt, I would say he's the favorite, and he I don't know, both in terms of the PB, in terms of race performance, but I don't know, we'll see. Anything can happen in a race. As Nitro said it best, anything can happen. And Dansta getting the shard here. Oh, we're about to go to our favorite part of the run here. My least favorite part, when the runners decide to go to the left. Get your GSA H or GSA T's in the chat. Or NicroDab, NicroSmug, whatever you have. Samurai 1 Copper.
That's a good one as well. Well, looks like we are going to be seeing, obviously, the first-person strategies here for Harriet, regardless of fighting her first or not. These fights still have some optimization potential to go through. You were mentioning yesterday when we had Fur Racing over here that he goes for this specific strip where he basically sets up Cappy and then already prepares a spin pound to kind of close that gap after the hit a little bit quicker.
Yes, indeed. It's kind of funny because even for us topper first gangers, we kind of get the best of both worlds, I like to think. Because you could do topper first and still do... Oh, as Dansta misses a Harriet bomb there. Maybe you should have gone topper first. But we do topper first, but we also get the experience of first-person Harriet, which kind of sounds like Harriet first. So, like, we kind of have both first available to us.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the triple Harriet first, you know, you use the first person, you fight her first, and you also spin pound the bubble first. So basically, all of these three strats combined for like the ultimate time save, you know?
Ooh, but how about in Cap? Why don't you find the topper skip there? Because seems to me like you're fighting topper first in Cap Kingdom. Also, why don't you get a BTT segment with Harriet first? Because it seems to me like topper is before Harriet in the BTT for mech. So, I don't know. Seems like just the thinker for me there.
Wait, actually, I didn't even know that. Is that true?
Yeah, Topper's the second bubble, then you do Harriet third, and then Rango is the first one.
Oh,
So
I was just referring
Rango...
to... Oh, okay, I was just referring to like the Harriet first strat name.
Oh. Yeah, but like in the order of the bubbles in the BTT, get Topper first. Trust me, I've checked for that specific.
No, I mean that's obvious. That's obvious. I mean you obviously have to ground pound the top bubble first. I was just referring to like the name of the strat because we used to do Spewered first before we did Harriet at the very end. Because obviously you save the best for the end. But yeah, regardless, we are going to be seeing Meg anyways, and we actually did see Nick miss that strat that I just mentioned earlier, not specifically the part where you hit Harriet first, but the actual last hit, the target acquired, as we like to say it, if you set yourself up in a specific way, where you basically just drop on top of Speedrun, and he hopefully is able to get this. I mean, hopefully is a pretty niche word here, because obviously we want to see a series as close as possible, but we obviously not going to wish Nitro to mess this up. So obviously all to his power.
Yeah, very intense situation for Nitro here. About to get this third bubble, and then we're going target acquire. Remember, target acquire, get your sunglasses ready, but don't post them yet, because we're not posting our Tim pools until after we get this target acquired. Last race, Nitro missed target acquired. If he misses that target acquired here, this race is going to be really close.
Yep.
So, very dangerous. Okay, let's see if he can get the setup right.
I don't like this position much, but I guess this is something he likes to do, and he will get rewarded for it.
That's it. There we go, Tim pool.
Well done by Nick, which that was pretty important. All he needs to do now is basically have a clean escape. It sounds rough because we have actually seen him miss Moon Skip, and Bowser fight is in the game, but it's pretty hard to lose 40 seconds before escape.
Yeah, I mean, not really, because like Stravos had a PB pace run where he died on Moon Skip, you know? So I guess you could lose it that way.
I guess that's possible. It is possible. It is possible. It's not done yet, but Nick is done with Meg, which is going to be a little bit of a relief.
Yes, indeed. Dansta about to go for that Harriet third strat, and then he will go for his own target acquired. We're getting the double cool here. It's like that GIF where someone has like the sunglasses on top of the sunglasses, and you keep pulling off the sunglasses, and you got more sunglasses underneath, you know?
And we're actually getting the experience right now. I was trying to hold you back there before because Dance actually hadn't gotten the hit, but he didn't fail to deliver. Gets the second target required of this race, and it's also going to make his way over to Moon. Now, actually, if we look at the fade out here for Nick, a 100 seems to be barely. Oh, actually, oof! This would require like an insane. Absolutely insane.
55-41? What do you mean? Oh, well, yeah. Well,
wait, didn't he get like a 45? I mean 51, right? So he would need like a 509 moon or 508 moon.
Just a 515, right?
Wait, I thought he just got like a 51 exit.
Man,
oh, he had a 41 apparently. Okay, I'm getting
41. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I got lied to.
Yep, we, yeah, so he'll definitely 100 with just a solid moon, which is kind of incredible considering the mistakes that he made in early game, considering the, he missing nut clip and getting a 100. Like,
also missed Dram, like in one of the most ridiculous ways, and had to like really struggle to get back into the bullet bill, but I guess the rest of the run has been really solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Dansta did have that 15-second lead in sand, but okay, let's see Nitro get this. Means if he did fail it last race, so hopefully he can get it this time. If he does, let's see, get the no value dives today.
No value dives, no cat stalls, so definitely high confidence version of the moon skip. Not the fastest one, we know there's an even faster version now, but that's all that he wanted there is getting in there without.
So we got Dansta 1 minute and 3 seconds behind is Dansta right now.
It's a pretty big lead.
It is a big lead, but you never know what's gonna happen. I don't know. Bowser could not play nice. He got 2D skip, always something. We got invisible walls or just deaths and pillars, always something that could happen.
For sure.
We'll be keeping our eyes peeled for this one. And of course, Nitro is still trying to get the best time that he can. Get another 100 in his belt. I think that'll be his 6th 100 in his GSA race, which is kind of impressive. Uh-oh, Dansta not falling on the Sphinx there. I have to get back up.
Really annoying having to deal with the moon gravity here, but is making it work there after a little bit of struggling to get back up. He's gonna make his way over to Bowser himself. Now Nick is probably already preparing for the third phase here. and is then going to make his way to the escape section.
Yes, indeed. And Nicro finishing up these Bowser hits here. There is like a little manip that you can do on Bowser in Moon here that I know Chaos does, and some people, I don't know, people disagree about how much time it saves, if any. But I don't know, future of Moon traps, perhaps we do these little things. But Nicro already onto the escape as Dansta just starting the Bowser fight, so you can see that's about a minute difference. Now, a little more now because Dansta missed out Moon Skip, so I'm guessing it's about like, I don't know, maybe a minute 15 seconds. So a minute 15 seconds, I don't know. We'll see if Nicro gets to the point of T-Skip, obviously, while Dansta has beat Bowser, then Dansta's ahead. But I don't know if Dansta will be able to beat Bowser in that time. But we will see here. Get hyped, because this might be the last race of today. Nicro about to finish his 13th consecutive win.
Hopefully there's still
a
a
lot to go.
section between him and that one, and also a pillar room. But if he's able to clutch this one out, if he's able to avoid dying, he gets the first jump. Gets a. I actually had like a frame drop happening on my screen. It looked like he actually fell back down, but I think it was only on my end. I'm not sure. He is able to make the jump. I probably just hyped it up for no reason because my screen on Discord's end actually had like a frame drop there. But he's able to get
the hype, man. We'll take it. Hype all the time. Maximum hype here. We've been building up to this moment for 2 hours. Okay, final match of this, the final race of this set here. Still got at least one more set to go, but this is it. Nicro gets this, and then he's done for the day. Nicro falls in pillars, and then we'll be here for 1 more hour. So we will see whether Nicro can finish this one off with a good pillar room. Could be a 1-0. Very impressive. Looking like he's getting these pillars quickly here. Good motion controls. Each of these fireballs you fire is 1 motion control, by the way, so definitely a good one.
Alright, and the last pillar is falling. Nicro is clawing here on that block, and this is going to cause him to win the first best of 3 here versus Dansta. Once again, as a reminder, we are going to have the second best of 3 of the series tomorrow. And if Nicro is able to win this one as well, he is going to qualify to play at pace. He's definitely going to be happy about this one. 1:00:54. Very nice job.
To Nicro. And we'll see Dansta finishing off. Not a bad time, probably better than, or at least has to have the chance perhaps to best his time from last race. I think it was a 1:02:30. It was 1:02:35, so definitely having a chance to better his time from last race. We'll see
and
if
it's funny,
he can
you called that one, right? Didn't you call both of them were gonna improve, and looked like they were, but Nicro still keeping the upper hand.
Definitely, it kind of shows that, like, you know, you warm up here and then you get better and your times are better. That's just how it works. That's why these long grinds kind of help with performance. Uh-oh, gonna have to. I don't know if he got that first pillar there. He kind of had to snipe it from the side.
Hard to tell since we don't have audio, but looks like he did because these blocks are falling quite fast. So I think this should be the last pillar, and it's falling. Dansta is gonna close out his own run, and with that the series will end. Nicro taking it to 0, remaining undefeated 13-0. This man is on a mission, and I personally cannot wait to see how we are gonna be approaching the series tomorrow, because tomorrow there is the potential. This is a match point basically. If Nicro wins tomorrow's series, he will proceed and play at pace.
Yeah, it looks like we might have runners coming in the call here after this first set. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. It's up to them. It is always up to the runners, rather that if they decide to do an interview or not. We'll take them, but otherwise, might make sense to wait until the second.
Or potential third.
Or potential third set is over. But either way, I'm sure Nicro is very happy with his performance here. Like, you know, taking 2 wins, that's all you can ask for. Wow, Dansta really fooling us all today. Yep. Unfortunately,
we're getting fooled.
we're getting fooled, and I'm getting word from the GSA headquarters that we're
Dansta actually
changing
got
this. Oh, it's a best 9 of 15 now, by the way. So we're gonna be here for 4 more hours.
Yep.
Now, but
Dansta
GG's
actually
to
won. He
the...
got sub hour. Oh my god, he got 0.00. Oh my god, Dansta's at pace. Well, anyways, guys, this series is gonna return tomorrow, it looks like. So, best of 3 number 2 between Dansta and Nick coming your way tomorrow.
That it will. Be sure to check. Could be the end. Could be the beginning of, I don't know, another set. We'll see how it works out for these runners, but GG's today. Very solid racing. All right, keep your eyes peeled. Exclamation mark schedule, or take a look at the schedule for. We got some hot races coming at you later today. This has been Espa and Winky for the Global Speedrun Association. We're signing out.